This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The 76ers expected James Harden to show up and participate in practice today. He did not. Harden is in Houston, frustrated that his wish to be traded to the Clippers has not been granted. This move by Harden, not a surprise, considering what he did in OKC, Houston, and Brooklyn, says ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
This is how he's operated in the past. Like I said, his track record is he's got what he's wanted. He has faced very little to no repercussions for it. And so from his perspective, this move makes sense. He's gotten rewarded for this, and the downside is minimal.
Brian Windhorst on NBA Today. 76ers regular season opener is 8 days away. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson will have season-ending shoulder surgery. Gardner Minshew starts the remainder of this season. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence, knee injury, officially listed as questionable tomorrow night against the Saints. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Jets trading receiver Mecole Hardman back to the Chiefs in a deal that involves a swap of 2025 late-round draft picks. ALCS Game 3, Astros down 2-0, visit the Rangers, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio.
Are you overwhelmed by insurance? Make it easy. Get all your insurance in one place with Geico. Plus, get 24/7 claim support and on-the-go policy access with the award-winning Geico mobile app. See how easy insurance can be and go to geico.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Hey. Woo.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Tigers lost another commitment.
Hump day.
This one feels a little more of a big deal.
It's hump day.
Saints play tomorrow.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Mike Triplett in 12 minutes.
Hump day.
See what we did?
It's hump day.
We flipped the lineup.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We can't preview the game with Mike Triplett
Hump day.
like an hour before the game starts.
It's hump day.
So we'll do that today.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Frank Frangie next hour.
Hump day.
He's the radio voice of the Jaguars.
It's hump day.
Russ Mitchell, hour 3.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Pluckers Trivia.
Hump day.
We got Bourbon Dictionary.
It's hump day.
We got Otter Law.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got a lot to do, so let's get cranked up here. Glad you're here. All right, let's get rolling. We will begin today, as we do every single day, hit Muse.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So on a Tuesday, LSU lost a commitment from wide receiver Joseph Stone. And we talked a little bit about that, and I think you could probably read between the lines on some of that stuff. And my feeling generally with commitments, just to sort of reset the deck, is I understand generally how the fan perspective is. If you lose a commitment, well, like if someone commits to your school, well, he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. If someone picks another school, well, he's overrated. If you have a commitment and he flips to another school, well, you didn't want him. You purged him out of the class. I think there are sometimes when all those cases are true. When we talked about Stone, the wide receiver, yesterday, you basically got your answer later in the evening on Tuesday when 4-star wide receiver Draylon Miller decommitted from Texas A&M. Draylon Miller was on LSU's campus for Saturday's game against Auburn. So you have a top 100 overall prospect in the country who's committed to one of your rivals. He's at your game against Auburn. On Monday, one of your longtime wide receiver decommits and that from you, and then a couple hours later, the 5-star receiver who's committed to one of your rivals decommits from your rival. You can kind of piece things together a little bit there, right? Makes a lot of sense. This one is one that that's a little, I would say, is a little more disappointing. Obviously, Andre Evans is someone that LSU worked very hard to recruit. They got him committed out of Tennessee, out of Nashville. He's a 4-star, and not only did he decommit, but he flipped to Georgia. You see, if Andre Evans had decommitted to LSU and flipped to Louisiana Tech, you can kind of see what was happening. He got purged. And when he flips to Georgia, you kind of can read the writing on the wall. Georgia never gave up on recruiting him, and they made their pitch, and he decided to go play for the number 1 team in the country. You can hardly fault the kid. That sort of happens. But my feeling remains the same. Regardless if you get a commitment, if you lose a commitment, if it's a 5-star guy or a 3-star guy, whatever it may be, I look more so in context of how does that position group as a whole look outside of one player? Yes, of course, you'd love to get all the 5-stars and the blue chippers and everything, but sometimes 5-stars and blue chippers don't pan out. I mean, Marcel Brooks was a 5-star that LSU brought in here in 2019. He went to TCU and changed positions like 3 times. And then there's guys that are, Sage Ryan was a 5-star, still feeling his way through right now in year 3. And then there's guys who are Patrick Peterson and Derek Stingley, and they're 5-stars. They're amazing from the second they step foot on campus. Recruiting is inexact. Really what I look for is that position group as a whole. And so one thing, with this LSU cornerback room that's undeniable is you have to have a dramatic upgrade in 2024. Now, you don't need the full history of the position, but I think we all remember what happened. Ed Ogeron gets fired. You have this massive exodus. You had really good numbers at that position. And then, of course, Eli Ricks transfers, Dwight McGlothern transfers, Radarius Jones transfers, Demarius McGee transfers. So basically all the work you've done recruiting at that position, all those guys leave except for LaTerrence Welch. So you go heavy in the portal. You hit on some guys last year, but they were all one-year guys. You go heavy in the portal again, and you miss on the 4 guys that you recruited this year. I shouldn't say miss on all 4, but clearly you missed on Deuce Chestnut. Zy Alexander is your best cornerback, but he doesn't look like guys that you would normally have starting at LSU. J.K. Johnson's injured, and Denver Harris is certainly a work in progress. So I think when you look at what the cornerback room for 2024 will look like now without Andre Evans, think of it like this. I think it's safe to say Deuce Chestnut's not going to be back, right? He hasn't been with LSU the past 2 weeks. Brian Kelly's been a little evasive on his future, but I think you can read the writing on the wall with Deuce Chestnut. He was a 2-year starter at Syracuse. He transfers to LSU to have the opportunity to step up in competition. He's out there week 1 against Florida State. He gets mossed, and we don't see him again. Like, he's literally not even traveling, so he's not with the team. So if Chestnut's not back, that means you got 3 other guys. J.K. Johnson will be healthy. We've yet to see what he might be. There's some optimism there. Denver Harris, certainly we assume, will be back next year, and hopefully you're older, you're better, you're wiser. And then Zy Alexander has the option to come back again should he choose to. So you could have those 3 guys returning. You've got some young scholarship players, LaTerrence Welch, Ashton Stamps, and Jeremiah Hughes. That puts you at 6 cornerbacks right there. 3 veterans, 3 young guys who are on scholarship who are still coming along. And then you've got the current commits in this class. And that's where maybe there's reason for real optimism, because the current commits in this class look more like what you would expect LSU cornerback commits to look like. Juwan Johnson's a 4-star from Lafayette. Wallace Foster's a 3-star from Warren Easton in New Orleans. And you've got Kai Bates, who's a high 4-star out of the state of Florida. You have 3 blue-chip cornerbacks committed, and you're not done. They're still recruiting Bernard Causey, who's a kid out of New Orleans, who's currently committed to Ole Miss. LSU's given him the offer, and most of the industry people assume he's going to flip to LSU as well. So you're going to get more at that position as well. And one thing don't just take my word for it. Remember, Shea Dixon was with us a couple of weeks back when we were talking about recruiting, and he talked about this LSU defensive back class. Now, keep in mind, at the time, the class included Andre Evans, but Shea was talking not just about corners, but also safeties, where, Deshaun McBride out of Denham, the safety, is the highest-rated commit in your class right now. Here's what Shea had to say a few weeks ago about this LSU secondary class that's currently committed.
I would put them up there with most of the teams in the country in terms of quality that they're taking. I mean, you've got a guy in Juwan Johnson who right now is still on pace and in a battle to break Brock Berlin's record for all-purpose yards as a high schooler, and he's going to play corner for LSU. I think he can make that transition. They went to Florida, got Kai Bates, who a lot of teams wanted. He'll finish as one of the top 10 corners in the country. And they've got Andre Evans, who I think is a really big upside play for them, in addition to Wallace Foster with Evans coming out of the Nashville area. And then it's safety. Deshaun McBride's a top 5 safety in the country. Joel Rogers is one of the top 300 players in the country in the top 20 safeties. So this DB class, both rankings-wise and just how they're performing and upside and kind of the tools they have, athleticism, it's all there. So I'm nowhere near saying this is DBU again, but these are the type of recruiting classes you need to have to inch back towards that.
That's a great feeling that you're not going to get back to that through the portal. You'll get back to that by having these types of recruiting classes and supplementing with the portal. And what's to say LSU won't do that again with the transfer portal if there's a player worth snagging that can make you immediately better, like Jarek Bernard-Converse did a year ago or Mekhi Garner did a year ago. For what it's worth, I mean, look, this LSU pass defense, it's tough to look at. I mean, you're 114th in the country right now. You allow 266 pass yards a game. LSU, 114th in the country in pass defense. It's not the expectation people have here. It's disappointing that Andre Evans has flipped, but LSU's not done certainly at that position. By the way, for what it's worth, my whole theory about you don't have to be great, in pass defense to go to the playoff and win a championship. You got to be, if you're elite on offense, you got to be good enough on defense. Do we all sort of assume that Washington's a pretty good team, right? Washington, the Huskies, Michael Penix, front runner for the Heisman, all that stuff. You know where Washington is right now in pass defense in the country? Any idea where they're ranked? Muse, any idea where Washington's ranked in pass defense?
In the 60s?
Nope. Paulie, you want to take a stab at it?
I'll go 75.
How about 107th?
Oh.
Washington. 100. Can Washington go to the playoff?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 107th in pass defense. 7 spots ahead of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. You ain't got to be great. You got to be able to score a lot of points and be good enough to get stops. All right, it's after further review. Normally we visit with Mike Triplett on Thursdays. The Saints play tomorrow, so we're going to visit with Mike for a final preview of the game when we come back. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by our friends over at Bud Light. Friends at Mockler are just awesome, man. I think always supporting great events around our community. They've been involved in our community for 40 years. The CCA Star Banquet is on Thursday. That's presented by Michelob Ultra. Of course, the Bud Light Fan Zone will be out at Tiger Stadium right in front of the PMAC on Saturday. So drink easy in Louisiana this football season with Bud Light and our friends at Mockler Beverage. Great community partners for 40 years. We'll be there tomorrow. Show at Mockler tomorrow. At the Slattery, we'll have our AFR watch party, our listen to watch party, immediately after AFR for Thursday Night Football tomorrow. We're looking forward to it. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Mike Triplett's next. Stick around.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Man, Gordon's been helping injured people in our state for more than 30 years. Always encourage you to go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. If you've been injured, it's not your fault. You need representation. Trust the attorneys that have helped injured people in our state for more than 30 years. More than 75,000 cases they've closed. More than $2 billion recovered for their clients. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. And, of course, we always tell you about the charitable component of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys as well. That's Gordon Gives. It's the charitable arm whereby Gordon and his team, they do amazing work for so many different charities in our organization. I keep telling you about the autographed LSU football giveaway. Members of the G team all throughout the football season, every single game week, can go to the website, gordongives.com, gordongives.com. Hit the football giveaway tab, and you'll see the little form to enter to win. It's Greg Brooks, Harold Perkins, Garrett Nussmeier. It's all there for you. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Mike!
Yeah?
Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football, presented by Benny's Car Wash, family owned and operated since 1951.
No, don't look at the calendar. I know it's not Thursday. It's Wednesday, but the Saints, of course, playing on Thursday Night Football. I wanted to get Mike Triplett in here to give you a preview here before the Saints tee it up and kick it off against Jacksonville on Thursday. Mike from New Orleans Football. Mike, how are you, man? Appreciate it as always.
Doing great. It feels like a Thursday when I'm with you, Matt.
You know what? It gets us one step closer to the weekend of football, so I'm for it. It is kind of weird. Thursday Night Football was such an accelerated week. Let's start, Mike, with the injury report. 5 players out: Juwan Johnson, J.T. Gray, Landon Young, James Hurst out, Ryan Ramczyk out. What do the Saints do on the offensive line with 2 starters and 3 players in all out?
And look, the biggest decision they have to make is whether they want to play Trevor Penning or not, because they wanted to bench him and give him time to sit back and reset. And you know, I mean, they were so dedicated to doing that they kept him on the bench last week, even when Andrews Pete was out, and had put Max Garcia in at guard. So I'm not sure that he's definitely the solution at left tackle. So I mean, other options include Cam Irving, a really experienced guy that they just added to their practice squad 2 weeks at either tackle spot. Andres Pete moving back over to left tackle where he's obviously played in the past. We're going to see a lot of line shuffling with this team, and that's just going to add to the challenge of an offense that has lost its way. Or never found in the first place.
Yeah, maybe so. Do you, except for like the first drive of the preseason when they went right down the field, we're like, okay.
It looked so good. Okay. It was such a mirage. It was so clean. They used everybody.
Best guess of what they do on the offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, Cam Irving makes the most sense as right tackle. He's played a lot of games there. And then I would say either Penning left tackle, Pete left guard, or Pete left tackle, Garcia left guard.
Man, this feels kind of like the COVID year. Actually, I don't even want to recall that.
Look, it's been 3 years. It's been 3 years in a row, and the offensive line has not played well enough. Absolutely has not played well enough this year. Even when they had all their guys healthy, they were healthy all preseason. They started week 1 with their 5 starters. They started most of the first month of the season with their 5 starters, and they've underachieved. It's been one of the bigger disappointments of the team. But just in general, the injuries that have hit that unit for 3 straight years now have really, really derailed this team as much as anything outside of probably the quarterback injuries and the Michael Thomas injury.
What do you attribute Ryan Ramczyk, Eric McCoy, their play dropping off?
Yeah.
Because they were consistent.
I don't know. I mean, maybe when you carry a heavier burden when the guys next to you don't have their jobs locked down. I mean, James Hurst really struggled this year, moving back from tackle to guard. Trevor Penning has obviously struggled quite a bit this year. These guys are losing one-on-one battles, though. It's not miscommunication issues. It's not these guys don't know each other well enough issues. We're just seeing Ryan Ramczyk have one of his, have more gaps than we're used to seeing. We're definitely seeing Eric McCoy have more gaps than we're used to seeing. I wish I could tell you what to attribute it to. I mean, some of this stuff certainly that we're seeing with the receivers, not that it's Derek Carr's fault necessarily, but there is an adjustment growing pains issue that we are clearly seeing with a new quarterback, new style of play calling, new preferences, whatever it is, adjusting routes, and then they're not getting the adjustments. Like, we're seeing growing pains with this offense that I didn't necessarily think we were going to see to this extreme level.
Look, I mean, there's been so much talk about Pete Carmichael this week. And Mike, I mean, look, you're around the team all the time. From afar, it sounds like the players are going to bat for Pete. Is that? I'll just leave it. What do you read into that?
I think they are going to bat for Pete in the sense that they don't want him to be out there hanging like it's this one guy ruining everything, because they know they're all screwing up. Like we said, Eric McCoy's screwing up. Ryan Ramczyk's screwing up. Michael Thomas and Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed all obviously ran routes that Derek Carr wasn't expecting in this game. You never know for sure if that's quarterback or player. So they're all screwing up. Carr is obviously not playing up to his potential. And so they don't want Pete to be like, it's just this one guy screwing it up. But obviously Pete Carmichael is not happy either. That doesn't mean he's doing great and we're ruining it for him. I think it just means don't let him be hung out to dry by himself. If we were playing better, people wouldn't be calling him out quite to this extent.
Mike Triplett's with us. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Our chats every week are brought to you by Benny's Car Wash, Benny'sCarWash.com. Mike, if this persists, I'm going to ask you a hypothetical that we could talk about in the media, and you know what I'm going to ask you. But if this persists, do you see midseason changes?
I don't think it's off the table. And this is a time of year where it could be, if another game looks like that, and then they have 10, 11 days between games, firing Pete Carmichael, I don't feel like they're on the verge of that. Stripping them of play calling duties and giving them to Ronald Curry, I don't think that's out of the question. Certainly they have to make changes in how they're doing things now. Pete Carmichael hinted at simplifying the playbook a little, and Dennis Allen told a story about how when the defense was having red zone struggles a few years ago, he simplified his defensive playbook and said, let's get great at running the things we do run. And he said they've become one of the best red zone teams doing that. So I think That's certainly possible. Changing the play caller is certainly possible. And firing, I mean, it's all on the table if the offense keeps looking like this. The season is slipping away because of the offensive issues. I just think it's harder to say firing one person and replacing with someone who's already in the room coming up with these game plans is the fix-all that's going to work. I think that's a lot harder to do.
Look, they've missed the playoffs the last 2 years, Mike. Does this feel, for you covering the team, any different? Does this group or this year feel any different than either of the previous two?
Yes, I think it feels different in the sense that they feel like they're wasting their potential more this year. I think the players' frustration that we heard is I think they feel like they have a much better team than this, and they're really disappointed that they're letting these teams they should be beating, Green Bay and Houston in particular, beat them and wasting their potential. I think the last couple of years, the team just also wasn't good enough. Once Jameis Winston got hurt and Michael Thomas got hurt and various offensive linemen got hurt, I think they realized they also just didn't have a good team. This year, I think they have the players on this team, and they're kind of squelching it. I think there's a slight difference in that vibe.
Let's Mike, let's shift a little bit to Thursday night in particular. Trevor Lawrence's status is questionable. It may be C.J. Beathard. What? It's obviously a very obvious question, but how much does Trevor Lawrence's either his availability or his ability limited impact Thursday?
Yeah, huge. It's the best quarterback they probably have on their schedule this entire season, unless I'm forgetting somebody. And he's playing really well right now, or right before he got hurt. He got off to a little bit of a slow start this year, but he's been in a pretty good groove. So it's a huge test, and especially when you consider that until the Saints show us otherwise, you score 20 points and you beat the Saints. I mean, it's a brutal reality, but Trevor Lawrence doesn't have to come in here and score 34 to win a game. He needs to put together, 3-4 good drives. So, you'd rather be facing a Bryce Young or somebody who couldn't keep, or a Ryan Tannehill, who, you were able to win games with 23 and 18 points or whatever. So facing Trevor Lawrence at his best would be a daunting challenge until the Saints prove they can keep up with another good offense. But having him limited, or obviously having him out, would be a huge boost. What do
I'm assuming the Saints are going to play another close game. The line's one. It's the NFL. They're mostly all close games. What do they do with Blake Grupe right now?
Well, the funny thing about Blake Grupe, I mentioned this right after the game. I was trying to do the math in my head, and I even under it. I said I think he's at 80% this year. He's actually at 81.5%, which is sort of the average for all kickers. Will Lutz has only beaten that once in his whole career, I think, when he got to like 83%. I mean, kickers are always between 80. The good kickers are between 80 and 85%. He's right between 80 and 85%. They feel like huge ones, and it is true, obviously, one was a chance to be a game winner against Green Bay, and he failed on that one. But unfortunately, they all feel really important this year. Outside of the New England game, every kick he's kicked has had the weight of the game on his shoulders. Every time he kicks, they need those 3 points desperately. So, I mean, are you going to go out and find someone who's going to make more than 82% of their kicks? No. So, it depends on if they see him looking more inconsistent in practice, having, mental issues and being in a real slump, or if he's just going to miss 2 out of every 10. And if he's going to miss 2 out of every 10, I guess you have to live with it. Would have been nice if he made that one in Green Bay or made the 2 in Houston when they needed him so bad.
But of course, he makes the 50-yarders in New England in a route.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that's the thing, though, right? I mean, his percentage is great, but the pressure kicks he's had this year, he's missed, and that's.
But I would say he's made 13 kicks this year, and I'd say about 10 of them were pressure kicks. I mean, they beat the Titans by 1 point. They beat the Panthers by 6 points. So these other games, the ones he made in Houston, felt like they had the pressure of the world on him. He made one of 50 plus and 48 or whatever it was. So he's making pressure kicks too, but every time he misses one, it feels incredibly costly because this team can never afford to sacrifice 3 points.
Yeah, Mike. Last thing, how does How are things around the organization right now? Just given the state of where things are. I mean, they're 3-3, but it feels so much worse.
I know. Well, I think it feels horrible because, the Green Bay and the Houston games feel like games you wish you could get over so bad, because those are games you should win if you could just be, slightly above average on offense in those two games. And they couldn't quite hit that standard. So those felt like such wasted, lost opportunities. But 3-3 itself, when you played 4 of your first 6 games on the road, it's not like the schedule actually gets tougher. So they haven't squelched the opportunity to run away with this division. I mean, if they come out and they beat Atlanta twice later this season and they beat Tampa Bay the next time they play them, they can absolutely run away with this division. They just need to show that they can actually meet this potential that we think they have. So I think there's still hope that it's not already lost. But if this season slips away, there's going to be major concerns. They're not going to have a better. I mean, they gave themselves the quarterback. They spent on this roster. They couldn't have a better schedule. Everything is set up for them to succeed this year. If it doesn't happen this year, it'll really be a tough position for this team to find itself in, trying to figure out where to go forward.
Saints are a 1-point favorite at the Dome on Thursday Night Football. Of course, you can get all the content at neworleans.football, neworleans.football. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett, with us every Thursday, but this week on Wednesday, courtesy of our friends at Benny's Car Wash. Mike, we always appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Enjoy the game tomorrow, man.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, be well. Of course, our chats with Mike brought to you by Benny's Car Wash, where you can always get on by and look at the Benny's Unlimited Club. Great stuff right now. They have a benefit going on benefiting Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. And if you join today, you can wash free for the rest of 2023. Go to the website, bennyscarwash.com, bennyscarwash.com, and you get all the info about join today, the Unlimited Club, and you can wash free for the rest of 2023. bennyscarwash.com, bennyscarwash.com. Okay, it's after further review. We appreciate Mike Triplett for being with us. Look, you want to bet on the game tomorrow night? DraftKings Sportsbook, tell you about it every single day. DraftKings has been a great partner of ours here. And look, we don't hide it. We all love to sports bet. And I use the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Encourage you to do the very same. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. One word, smushed together, Baton Rouge. New customers make a $5 bet on the NFL or anything this week. Make a $5 bet. They'll give you $200 in bonus bets instantly. It's super easy. You download the app. You make your $5 bet. And then the $200 in bonus bets will automatically appear in your account. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. And, of course, they got daily boosts and bets every single day of the week and anything you want to bet on in any sport. October's a great time of year. You got October baseball. You got college football in full swing. The NFL Week 7's getting underway. The NBA, we're less than a week away from tip-off of the NBA regular season. You want to bet on all of it, you can do it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. DraftKings, the crown is yours. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select pairs only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, y'all. A really good day, and appreciate y'all for being with us. We'll knock out a quick break and come back. We'll got a sort of a non-traditional around the SEC. I want to talk about one SEC story in particular, and it's something Kirby Smart said today on Wednesday about Brock Bowers' injury. Not only what he said, but kind of how he said it. So we'll get into that when we come back. Taylor Calandro in about 15 minutes for Bourbon Dictionary. Get all your booze questions in. You can email us, tweet us, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. So a lot of ways that you can get involved. Get your questions for Taylor Calandro. That's all coming up here on AFR. All right, Frank Frangie, next hour, voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars, does afternoons on 1010XL in Jacksonville. So we'll get to that next hour, and then Russ Mitchell in hour 3. So ton to do. Glad you're here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. You know, every day I always tell you here about Darren and about buying and selling real estate. Today we're going to talk about something a little more personal to Darren and his family. Shamar and Maddie Lewis are friends of Darren James and their family, and they just got married last week, and then they had a house fire and lost everything. Clothes for their children, everything. And so this weekend on Sunday, as a matter of fact, at Clicks Billiards in Baton Rouge, they're having an 8-ball tournament. And if you want to participate, you can. You can call 678-1635, 225-678-1635. The info, it's $20 per player. The info's on Darren's Facebook page. I'll share it as well. But if anybody wants to contribute to this family, you can do it. Everything is appreciated. Anything is appreciated. Money, clothes, if you can help, please do so. We'll share out all the info. It's Darren James.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Today was SEC Basketball Media Day. Season's getting ready to tip off here in just a few weeks. So we have the projected order of finish by the league's media. Tennessee picked to win the SEC, followed by Texas A&M. Buzz has darn near his whole team back there in College Station. Arkansas picked to finish third. Of course, Eric Musselman's done a great job there during his time in Fayetteville. Kentucky, 9 incoming freshmen. Calipari didn't go to the portal. He went back. He reverted to his old ways, going to recruit a whole bunch of 5-star freshmen. 9 incoming players. Kentucky picked 4th in the league, followed by Alabama 5th. Auburn, Bruce Pearl, and the Tigers picked 6th. Mississippi State 7th. Followed by Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, Chris Beard, first year there in Oxford. Vanderbilt, 11th. Georgia LSU 13th, South Carolina picked to finish last, 14th. It was interesting. Jonathan Pixley and I, we do the NIL podcast every week, Rosters to Riches. And this week we interviewed Matt McMahon. The episode should drop later today or tomorrow. But, it's just, you remember what Matt McMahon inherited a year ago, where he had to replace literally all 13 scholarship players, which is incredible thought. Really unprecedented, because literally all scholarship players either went pro or entered the transfer portal. So he had to rebuild a roster. It's no surprise they were 2-16 in the conference. But you're a little more stable now. How much better can they be? If you look at preseason rankings, Tennessee is ranked preseason number 9. Arkansas 14th, Texas A&M 15th, Kentucky 16th, Bama 24th. So you have 5 teams ranked in the preseason top 25. Those also receiving votes: Auburn, Mississippi State, Missouri, and Florida. So there's really 4 teams, in the bottom of the league. It's Georgia, or 5: Georgia, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vandy, and LSU. So where does LSU finish among that bottom tier is probably how we're going to judge the success or failure of this season. Can LSU finish 9th or 10th in a 14-team league? That's an improvement from a year ago, and something that I think should be an expectation for these LSU Tigers. All right, it's after further review. Got a little Bourbon Dictionary coming up less than 10 minutes from right now. Taylor Calandro will be here to answer all your booze questions. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Excellence in imaging solutions.
We're going to take a little bit of a different tack, so you can actually go ahead and kill the music. I just want to make sure we hit the intro. Today on the SEC Coaches Teleconference, Kirby Smart was asked about Brock Bowers. Of course, the All-American tight end who Mel Kiper has ranked as the 4th best overall player in this upcoming draft. Kirby Smart's comments, though, about being asked about Brock Bowers floored me. So I wanted you to hear. Here's what Kirby Smart said first about replacing Brock Bowers.
Anytime you lose a player of Brock's magnitude, it's significant. I think we have contingency plans every week for really every position. It's not just Brock's; it's every position of what if, and you got to have what ifs in this league. There's a lot of injuries. It's a tough physical sport, and that's one of those things we always look at. And fortunately, we were it happened mid-game, or I guess early in the game in the first half. So we have other answers, and we'll have to go to that this week, and we're going to make a collective gains are what we're looking for from everybody. So it's a collective effort.
Okay. Easy enough, right? Coach speak, a lot of jargon. We have to have a game plan, collective efforts. Everyone's got to step up. Got it. Harmless enough. But then Kirby was asked if Brock Bowers was going to be back. Remember, he had tightrope procedure. That's typically a 4 to 6 week injury. In 6 weeks, he's out the rest of the regular season. So Kirby was asked, is Bowers going to be back this year? Listen to what he said.
Kirby, how confident would you say you are that Brock will be back in a Georgia uniform at some point this season?
You really think I'm going to answer that question? I mean, is that all this is about? You guys, all y'all want to talk about is whether he's going to be back or not. That's not, that is the furthest thing from my concern. My concern is this team and getting Brock Bowers healthy. And this team and getting Brock Bowers healthy. To answer that question is speculative. I'm not going to speculate.
For him to sheepishly laugh and say, do you think I'm going to answer that question? I mean, quote, is that all this is about? All y'all want to talk about is if he's going to be back or not. Yeah. He's your best player. You're the number 1 team in the country. If Brock Bowers is going to return is a massive question that everybody wants to know the answer to. If you're in the Georgia media and you have an opportunity to talk to Kirby Smart and you don't ask him about when Brock Bowers or if Brock Bowers is going to come back, you are negligent. You're not doing your job. And then Kirby Smart says, all I'm concerned about is getting Brock Bowers healthy, which is literally the question they're asking. Is he going to come back? I mean, there's a real easy way for Kirby to handle that. Well, he had the tightrope procedure, and we know typically that's a 4 to 6 week injury. Over time, we've seen some guys come back quicker and some guys it's taken it longer. We know Brock is a great competitor. He's going to go attack his rehab, and we hope to have him back soon. How hard is it to say that Why be super awkward with it when that's literally the only thing anyone should be asking as it relates to Brock Bowers? When, if, is he going to come back? Such an odd thing for Kirby to say. It's almost like because he was so standoffish about it, it almost tells you like he's hiding something, right? Like if you confront your significant other about something and they get super defensive, it's like, why are you getting so defensive? Like, maybe that's a sign of guilt. Maybe that's what's going on here with Kirby. I don't know. Maybe he knows something. Maybe Bowers isn't coming back. But you go off on someone for asking the most obvious question there is to ask. All right, it's after further review. Taylor Calandro will do some Bourbon Dictionary when we come back to wrap up hour number 1. Frangie next hour, radio voice of the Jaguars. Russ Mitchell in hour 3. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. But what I really got to talk to you about is one location and what's happening there this weekend. Saturday at Clegg's on Segan, it's the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree. Baton Rouge Green is a great organization that does so much to help beautify our fair city. And the tree spree is going on this Saturday at the Clegg's Nursery location on Segan. So you can ask their tree experts questions. You can stock up for tree planting season. They got native species. They've got rare species. And for every BRG, that's Baton Rouge Green, for every BRG-approved tree that you buy, Clegg's will donate to BRG as well. It's a great organization. So, of course, we appreciate Clegg's for sponsoring our community, the trees and the green spaces, and Clegg's on Segan again this Saturday only, Clegg's Segan only from 8 to 1. It's the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scoocha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Get your booze questions in. Taylor Calandro joins us, Wine and Spirits Director at Calandro's. How are you, dude?
Good. What's up, man?
Ready for whiskey season, man. Waking up, it's in the 40s. I mean, it's just that little chill in the air. I love Sunday nights. I sit on my back patio in the outdoor kitchen, and I'll maybe have a cigar, put the game on. You have a cocktail, and this is the time of year when I could put on a hoodie and pour a whiskey instead of having beer or tequila or something like that because the weather's perfect for it.
It's been wonderful. I mean, like the past couple mornings, I'm out the door at 5 o'clock. It's been cold.
Yeah,
awesome. But it's supposed to heat up again next week, man. I don't know why.
Well, it's because we live in Louisiana.
I've been here for 34 years. I should be used to this.
I know. I'm used to it, so I don't complain
Catching
about
me
it.
off guard.
No, we just accept that it's going to come and go, so you appreciate when it's here. So what is new? I would assume as we get here through the middle of October, I mean it's whiskey hunting season, and the allocated stuff is showing up, and collections are growing.
Yes, and the liquor industry, we call it OND, October, November, December.
That's so good.
This is OND, and we're getting that. It's crazy when October comes around. This is when the whiskey starts flowing. It is. They don't release anything, and then all of a sudden, the floodgates open. And today or yesterday, we got some blackened. Last year we had Blackened Willet in the raffle. It was the collaboration with Willet. Blackened is the Metallica distillery. This year their collaboration was with Lincoln Henderson or Wes Henderson, one of the Hendersons. Can't remember which. Wes. It was with Wes. So Wes is the co-founder of Angel's Envy.
Mm-hmm.
The Henderson brothers. This particular whiskey is finished in port barrels like Angel's Envy port barrel finished, regular bourbon.
Yep.
It's $110. Last year's release, the Willet collaboration, was outstanding. It was really good.
So you know me well enough to know I hate all of the stupid the whiskey collabs that are just nothing but you're telling a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Blackened Willet collab last year was awesome.
It was awesome.
The whole Blackened thing is they age it while playing Metallica music in there, right? I mean, it's supposed to that's the whole thing. It's supposed to be Disturbed. It's so stupid. It's such a sham.
Sonic waves through the wood, which I'm sure it does give vibration. It does probably expedite some aging, but it is gimmicky. And going into it mentally, I'm like, this is gimmicky, whatever. Man, that was really good last year.
It was
really good.
Had nothing to do at all with playing Metallica music there, and probably a lot to do with the fact that Willet's really good and the Blackened was really good. So I'm really looking forward to it. So it's Blackened Wes Henderson. So so this is on the shelf?
It's on the shelf. It's $109.99, I believe. And like I said, last year's was in the raffle. We decided not to do this year's in the raffle. So it is on the counter. I haven't tried it, but last year, I'm just going based off of last year's. It is a totally different style. Last year's was extremely well done.
All right, get your questions in for Taylor. We got a couple of minutes. You can email us, you can tweet us, you can jump in the Buy Ford YouTube chat, you can text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Joshua Abshire said, ask Taylor, there's a he said there's a grocery store that rhymes with, but I'm not going to say it. They had a bottle of UK Blantons in stock a couple of weeks back. Is this a new development? If so, will Calandro's be receiving any?
UK Blantons?
I guess it would be the Blanton's Gold, yeah.
We've got that's a raffle bottle. Yes. It was in our raffle last year. It'll be in our raffle this year.
Okay, so just explain though so Blanton's Gold is only produced or is distilled or only available in the UK.
It used to be only available UK in the French islands, the UK islands,
mm-hmm.
Caribbean. But this last year they released gold to the United States for the first time.
Okay.
It's a little higher proof than the regular Blantons. And then actually this year, too, they added straight from the barrel. I don't know if we had straight from the barrel last year, but straight from the barrel will be available this year, too.
Oh,
and that's
wow.
never been available.
Wow.
That's
the best one?
In my opinion, the best blend.
That is, I think, a fact. I don't even think that I think that is objective fact that it's the
I
best
don't
one.
make fun of people for looking for that one.
All right. Hey, less than a minute. Ask Greg Lehman, is Great American Beer Fest worth going to?
GABF in Denver, I've never been, but I have heard it is outstanding. It's the biggest beer festival in the country.
Last one. Does Taylor like hard cider? Any recommendations? That's from Nathan Hodge.
I do like hard cider. We have a bunch from like the UK, and the UK does ciders very, very well. Check out a cider from the UK.
We had one more that was when is the raffle. It's December the 14th. It's at the store this year, so we'll give you more info as we get closer. I got to run.
Yep.
Thanks as always, dude.
See you, Matt.
All right, that is Taylor Calandro. This is After Further Review. Hour number 2 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. They started in Morgan City, moved up to Baton Rouge. You go to Lafayette, Youngsville, Port Allen, points in between. Livingston Parish, Denham Springs, you've got your own Shawbills now as well. It's Shawbills, Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. If you need tires, and let's be honest, we all get to a point when we drive our cars where we need to buy new tires. And that ain't a fun thing to do because they're expensive and you don't get much for them, but you got to have them. So get the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. That's what Shawbills does. They're going to combine manufacturer's offer with their in-house offer. Go to the website, hit the promotions tab at the top. You'll see all of the specials that they have to get you the best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. That's at Shawbills. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, if you need service, you can schedule service online at any of the locations. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com for more than 50 years. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A shooting 2 days apart in different parishes have authorities looking into whether they are connected. An 8-year-old was shot in Carville last Thursday. 2 days later, his 15-year-old brother was shot at a Popeyes in Dutchtown in Ascension Parish. The investigative unit piecing together the bizarre coincidence and asking law enforcement about similarities. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Running Bart's marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Instead of participating in 76ers practice today as the team expected, guard James Harden was in Houston where he's been the last few days. Harden remains frustrated. His request to be traded to the Clippers has not been granted. Like he did with the Thunder, Rockets, and Nets, Harden is dug in. Explains ESPN NBA reporter Ramona Shelburne.
This is an escalation in tactics. This is, I am not happy, and this is, somebody close to him told me, this is only the beginning of what he plans to do here.
This is only the beginning.
This is only the beginning.
Which I'm sure thrills new Sixers coach Nick Nurse. Colts rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson will undergo season-ending surgery on his injured throwing shoulder. Gardner Minshew starts the rest of the season. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Jets trading receiver Mecole Hardman back to the Chiefs. That deal involves a swap of 2025 late-round draft picks. Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence still dealing with a knee injury, officially listed as questionable tomorrow night against the Saints. Tonight, Game 3, American League Championship Series, Astros-Rangers, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Texas up 2-0. It's Max Scherzer and Christian Javier.
Home, auto, prized sports memorabilia. Whatever you need to protect, Geico can help get you covered. And with the award-winning Geico mobile app, you can get 24/7 claim support and on-the-go policy access. It's easy to Geico. Go to geico.com today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Voice of the Jags, Frangie, in 15 minutes from right now. Russ Mitchell next hour. Brian Kelly on the SEC Coaches Teleconference today, giving an update on LSU's prep for Army. I'll get to that in just a second. Not sure if you've seen this yet, but Bruce Feldman, who's now at The Athletic, I'm sure many of you know that, but just for the sake of attribution, Bruce Feldman is reporting that Jimbo Fisher's seat is, quote, getting hotter at Texas A&M. Of course, the general consensus is that after a 5-7 season a year ago, Jimbo would have been fired if they didn't owe some $80 million on his buyout. Well, here's a quote from Bruce Feldman at The Athletic. Quote, "They are paying him gobs of money with the expectation that this program will compete for national titles, and he just lost his 8th consecutive road game. The Aggies have lost 2 in a row and have dropped 9 of their last 12 games against Power 5 opponents. They didn't even make a bowl game last season despite a roster loaded with 5-star talent and what was regarded by the online recruiting services as the highest-ranked recruiting class of all time. He's had 1 good season in College Station, 9-1 in the pandemic season of 2020. Since then, the Aggies have not finished the season ranked in the AP poll." Goes on to talk about how the 2024 recruiting class is number 4 in the country. They got 4 5-star prospects, 6 top 100 players in the country, but they still have to play South Carolina, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and LSU. And Bruce Feldman says that Texas A&M will come up with the money to cover the buyout if he can't turn this around. Quote, this is Bruce Feldman, quote, "Texas A&M, I'm told, will find the money to get rid of him if he can't get this thing going. And yes, it absolutely does matter to important folks down there that Texas has a chance to be in the college football playoff this year. And Steve Sarkisian has been on the job for half as long as Jimbo." When we were at at SEC Media Days in July, my one bold prediction was that Jimbo wouldn't be back next year. And a lot of people scoffed at it because of the money. The thing that's undeniable about Texas A&M is they could write that buyout check 100 times over. And rich people tend to get what they want. Rich people didn't become rich by hating money, so they don't like parting ways with their money. But the thing that they hate even more is being wrong or losing. And A&M is losing. And let them drop another game and go 8-4 again. Let them drop 2 more games and go 7-5. Yeah, 7-5 would be an improvement from 5-7, but it's still not a standard that's acceptable. A&M will be looking for a new head coach. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. We'll get to what Brian Kelly had to say here in just a second. Michelli, I was down at Michelli yesterday in Harahan. Big salute to Joel McMullen, the whole staff. They did an awesome job expanding their lab there in Harahan. They had enormous amounts of square footage to it. It was so cool to watch some of the demonstrations as well. Like, like it's like the 3M, like the electrical tape. Well, think of it this way. How much force does it take to stretch that electrical tape before it'll snap? Well, that's something that they have to know. Well, they calibrate machines when they make it. Well, Michelli calibrates those machines. Some of the biggest companies in the world work with Michelli. They've got offices in 11 different states. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Thanks to everyone who was kind enough to come by and say hello yesterday when we were down there, and loved this partnership. It's a great Louisiana company that's been in business for 76 years that just continues to expand. I mean, they are the leader in their industry nationally and soon internationally. Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. LSU is going to take on Army Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Not sure if you've seen this, but LSU's put this out on all their social media. There's a change coming to Tiger Stadium. LSU has added camo to the end zones. So instead of the purple end zone with gold LSU and gold end zone with purple LSU, it's a camouflage pattern in the end zone with black LSU. How do we feel about this? Go around the room, use camo end zones. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down from me.
Paulie, camo end zones, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm going to go thumbs down as well.
Why do both of you hate America?
It's not that I hate America.
Why do you hate the Army?
Don't hate America. Love
Why
the
do you
Army.
hate our troops?
Very appreciative of the Army.
Why are you so
troops.
anti the United States Military Academy? Both.
I just don't think that that's a necessary thing to do for this football game.
Yeah, it's terrible. I can appreciate the gesture.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate the gesture. No. Well, it's like when the baseball team will wear the camo hats from time to time.
Yeah. Don't like that either, but
I love the salute to service, though.
Yes, that's
that the baseball team
fantastic.
does on Sundays. Great thing. There's great things you could do, and there's a lot of things you can do around this game. I'm not sure that painting the end zone camo is one that I would have gone. But look, I don't want to be the old curmudgeon. Maybe the kids will love it. If the Army players love it, great. I'm not going to sit here and do backflips over it. It's just they're putting it out there. A lot of people are talking about it, so that's that. What I'm going to be way more interested in is how the LSU defense fares. You faced in the final 6 possessions at Missouri for Missouri's offense. LSU only allowed them to score twice. So you got off the field 4 of the final 6 possessions 2 weeks ago in Columbia. Last week, you take on Auburn in Tiger Stadium, and you allow 18 points. Yes, Auburn did finally. They got a touchdown in the second quarter, touchdown in the fourth quarter. LSU was able to limit Auburn to less than 20 points, and that's what we've got to see from this team. I say it again. You don't have to be dominant. You just got to be good enough defensively to complement what might be the best offense in all of college football. And this is an Army team that the offense looks a little different. This isn't an Army offense that's the true, straight, traditional triple option that we're used to seeing. And I know Jeff Monken has explained this in this offseason, that when the rules committee changed their rules on cut blocking, it really became prohibitive for triple option teams. And so they had to adapt more of a traditional style offense, which Army is doing, and it's much to their detriment. Army right now is 93rd in the country in scoring offense. They were shut out last week at home against Troy. Army lost 19-0. So this is an Army team that is balanced. They're going to throw it a little more. They average about 140 yards in the air and right at about 200 yards on the ground. So they're balanced, but they struggle to score. And you would think that this is an LSU defense that's going to be able to go and should out-athlete and outmatch and overpower this Army offense. But, Brian Kelly talked about defending an option-based offense, which is something you just don't see very often in college football.
Playing against the option offense when you're on defense is a bit of it's organized chaos. I'll be honest with you. I mean, you're doing things that you don't normally see. There's a lot of option principles, but our guys are locked in. They're focused. They understand that what's most important right now is preparing for an Army team that's going to come at you for 4 quarters. So day one in the banks, we go to today, this afternoon, and we hope to work towards being even better.
This is a massive game for your linebackers. When you play a triple option team, it's a game where your linebackers have to be disciplined, have to fill gaps, and defend sideline to sideline. You would think this plays right into LSU's hands with athletic guys that can run. Here was Omar Spates, who met with the media, who's back and healthy, getting healthier. Omar Spates about defending Army.
They still kind of run the triple option, just in like a different. They not under center no more. They kind of do it from shotgun sometimes, but it's just all about preparing the same way, but having great eyes, great technique, just being more physical than them.
I think you have to accept the fact that Army is going to move the ball. They're going to make some plays in that game, but it's going to be about being sound and disciplined. The frustrating thing about playing an option offense, and you heard Omar say it. The frustrating thing about playing an option offense is, man, 5 out of 6 plays, you could stuff them for no or little gain, but the one play you're not disciplined, they can bust one for 60. And you see that. Look, for those who are familiar with, I don't want to get too hyper-local, but I think about, it's not what and what, but John Curtis runs the split back veer. It's a lot. Acadiana, the Wrecking Rams, who's a great high school football program in the last 20 years in Louisiana, 20-plus years in Louisiana, they run the triple option, and they are really good at it. And when it gets rolling, it is hard to stop. So it's different. This is typically the type of opponent you would rather see week 1 because you'd have time to prepare for it instead of smack dab in the middle of the season, although this version of the option looks a little different. Brian Kelly also talked about Omar Spates. You just heard from Omar Spates about defending the option. Here was Brian Kelly talking about having Spates back. Again, a guy that's seen just about everything now in his 5th year of college football.
He's a really solid run-fit defender. He is experienced, and, I think the thing that Witt brings is athleticism, and he can flat-out run, but there's no substitute for experience and seeing plays the way Omar sees them and fitting them the way they need to be fit. And so that's the difference between the 2 linebackers right now. And so we lean towards having a little bit more experience on the field right now as Witt continues to grow and learn the position.
This is a great opportunity for LSU's linebackers this weekend to stuff the stat sheet. It is their game where your defensive linemen are going to eat up blocks. Army's offensive line is going to try to create car crashes, just pile-ups to find a little wiggle room for the backs to find those creases. Your linebackers have to run and have to tackle. It's a different kind of challenge, but one hopefully LSU's up to. Another week of showing improvement defensively before you hit your bye, and then you go to Tuscaloosa and take your best shot at the Tide. But first things first, with Army coming in and playing with camo end zones this weekend. Hopefully the Black Knights don't spend too much time in those camo end zones in Tiger Stadium. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Frank Frangie is going to join us, radio voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Really good friend of the show. Hosts afternoon on 1010XL in Jacksonville. But they're here now, obviously, with Jacksonville coming to New Orleans. So lucky enough to have Frank be able to jump aboard with us here for a couple of minutes. We'll do that next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Of course, you're going to have your own game watch party for Saints-Jags tomorrow. Get on by, see our friends at Rouse's. Any of the locations from as far west as Lake Charles to east and Orange Beach, Alabama, about 60 locations in between along the Gulf Coast. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. I always encourage you to download the Rouse's app. Listen, if you download the Rouse's app or if you go to the website, Rouse's.com, you'll see the weekly ad, right? So you can see all the weekly specials and deals and savings there. And also, always look for the Rouse's branded products. But remember, when you download the app, you can get the curbside pickup and the delivery options. The curbside pickup is what we talk about all the time, the personal shopper. Go to the app, pick out your items. Your personal shopper will go get your items for you. You pull up into one of the designated spots. They'll bring it out to the car. Spend $35. The service is free. Spend $100. You can save $20 with the code Saints20. That's Saints20. It's at Rouse's. This feels like home.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Week 7 of the NFL season kicks off Thursday Night Football, Saints-Jags from the Dome. Tomorrow night, Frangie will be there, a friend from 1010XL in Jacksonville, also the radio voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Spent 11 days in London. Frank, did you pick up an accent? Did you get any good food? A few pints? How was it, man?
The main thing, Matt, is I've been going to bed at 7 o'clock every night since then. That's the thing. Got to shake we had a great time over there. Went to Ireland for a few days and did some things we hadn't done. And, hey, look, won 2 games over there. That's the big thing. So we had a great time, but it's good to be back on American soil.
You know, I'm glad you brought up the Jags winning 2 games because I'm big, Frank, on not only who you play, but when and where you play them. And for Jacksonville to be in London for 2 weeks and then to come back and play Indy last week, I really thought that was a spot where it favored Indy. And that game wasn't even close. So how has this team sort of navigated the whole London trip and assimilating back into the States and all the different circumstances surrounding that?
Matt, he's done a really good job. He being Doug Peterson. He's done a really good job of keeping the thing the thing. Yeah, I know everybody talks about culture. That's the most popular word in sports these days, and I get it. But he really has built that, and he's eliminated distractions. You're right. It was an odd trip. No one's ever done it before. Even as broadcasters, we had not done this before. And so they went to one location and practiced, and then he played the Falcons. Then they had to move to another location and practice there, and so they changed hotels and played the Bills and played very well in that game. Then had to come back and get ready for the Colts, and now a short week to play the Saints on the road. It was a weird schedule. He's done a really good job of eliminating distractions. Now, part of that, too, is he's got the right team. In 2017, we had a pretty good team here, almost got to the Super Bowl. But Matt, the culture wasn't right. It was a dysfunctional group. It just was. And this is a good group, man. This is a group that they trust each other. They trust him. And I think that's how they've been able to navigate it because they're playing really well.
Obviously, the biggest. Let me not bury the lead, Frank. Obviously, the biggest story is Trevor Lawrence's knee. What can you tell us?
I think he's going to try and play. That's what I'll tell you. We was with him yesterday. He wants to play in the game. The good thing is, if you remember after the game, Matt, if you're watching after the game, he came out. Game ends. He walks out to the field and he talks to Gardner Minshew and he talks to the Colts people. And then he did his media after. I think if you're hurt badly, you don't do that, right? You don't. The guys that get hurt, you don't see him again. He went to practice yesterday. He had the brace on his knee. He did his media afterwards and didn't have a brace on his knee. And in his media afterwards, he said, "Look, I'm going to do everything I can to play." So nobody. I don't think he knows, Matt. I don't think Doug Peterson knows. I don't think the team doctor knows. But I can't imagine he wouldn't try and give it a go. You don't get the vibe that they're getting C.J. Beathard ready to play. C.J. took all the reps in practice, or most of them yesterday, in case he has to play. And nobody knows definitively, but I would be surprised if he doesn't give it a go. I really would. I think my guess is you're going to see Trevor start the game, maybe with a braced up left knee, and then see where it goes.
Frank Frangie is our guest, 1010XL in Jacksonville, and the radio voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars will be in the Dome on Thursday night for the start of Week 7. It's always interesting for me the short week, especially the team that has to travel. It's disadvantageous. There's no other way to say it. But when I look at the injury report, aside from Trevor Lawrence, anything else of note for Thursday night, Frank, that we should be paying attention to?
Yeah, a few things. By the way, that road game, that short week road game is a thing. History tells us teams don't play as well as that setting. So that's a thing, and that's not a mirage, Matt. You know this. History tells us that. So, yeah, it is a tough thing. As from an injury standpoint, other than Trevor, they're not going to have Walker Little. I think their best offensive lineman. He played left tackle while Cam Robinson was suspended for 4 games, moved inside to left guard. He's a pretty good player. They're not going to have him. They're not going to have Zay Jones, who's a pretty good receiver. He's probably their third receiver now. He's not as good as Ridley and Christian Kirk. They've got pretty good weapons here. They're not going to have him. The most significant guy that they haven't ruled out, but I don't think is going to play, is Tyson Campbell. That's the significant one. I think he's one of the 10 best cornerbacks in the league. He's a former Georgia player. Aren't all the Georgia players great, by the way? I figured that out. If you played at Georgia, you're great. You're going to be great.
It works out.
He's a really good player. And without him, I think Michael Thomas and Chris Olave are really good players. They're totally different. You know better than I do. But Thomas is a veteran, big physical guy. Olave's fast. And now you don't have your best cornerback to cover either one of those guys, so nobody can travel. You're probably going to play some zone and keep all eyes on the quarterback, so it changes your team a little bit. So Tyson Campbell being out, assuming Trevor's going to try and play, and my guess is he is, Tyson Campbell being out is the big one for the Jags.
Let's stay on the defensive side of the ball because the Saints, Frank, the Saints offense has just been they've been on the struggle bus this year, man. They can't score. Derek Carr is pacing to throw for like 14 touchdowns this year, which it almost feels like a joke when you say it out loud. But right now they're averaging about 18 points a game. It's not good. So what in the Saints offensive line is a mess. Let's talk a little bit about that Jacksonville defensive front 7 and how that matchup might go against the Saints offensive line that might be down a couple of starters.
I think it's played really well, and I think that's been one of the surprises of the team, Matt. Josh Allen's having a terrific year. It's a contract year for him. He has not been great the last few years. He's already has 7 sacks. He should have 8. He got a roughing the passer in London against Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen, which was a ridiculous call, by the way. So he should have 8 sacks. He's got 7. He's played pretty well. The front is physical. Trayvon Walker, the first overall pick from Georgia a year ago, is a tough-nosed physical player. He's not a great pass rusher. So what they haven't had until Josh Allen started playing well this year is a very good exterior pass rush. Kayvon Chason, you know him well. Good football player, but has not been a good pass rusher. Trayvon Walker is a tough-nosed guy. Good for a guy picked first overall, has not yet been a great pass rusher. So they haven't had a great exterior pass rush. Where they have been is very good against the run, very physical at the point of impact, and playing better as a group than I think anybody thought. I think the Jaguar defense is kind of the surprise of this team. We knew the offense was going to be pretty good, and we think it will be. I think the defense, Matt, particularly the part you're talking about, that front 7, has been a tough-nosed physical group and probably playing better than I thought they would. They really are.
Might be trouble for the Saints, who's able to really struggle on the offensive line. Defensively, the Saints have been really good. They've been really good under Dennis Allen. If Trevor Lawrence plays, but let's assume maybe not completely mobile, not 100% on a little bit of a bum wheel, how does that matchup work? What's the key matchup there, Frank, for Jacksonville's offense against that Saints defense?
I think the Saints are really good on defense. I think, like you said, they're 3-3 because the offense hasn't been as good as they want, and they got to figure some things out. And Derek Carr's got to figure some things out with Pete Carmichael again. You know that world better than I do. But I think the defense is legit. I think there's a toughness. I think Dennis Allen's he's a defensive-minded guy as a head coach. I think it's a good defense. So I think the Jags have their hands full with that defense. Number one, protect Trevor, because number one, he's not going to be as mobile as he was. Even if he plays, you can't imagine that Trevor's a pretty mobile quarterback. You can't imagine he's going to be as mobile as he typically is, so you got to protect him. I think they've got to run it some. Travis Etienne's a really good back. He's probably playing too much. They drafted Tank Bigsby out of Auburn, so Travis wouldn't get as many carries, Matt, and he's getting too many, in my opinion. But I think they got to run it a little bit. I don't think against that Saints defense in that building on this short week with a quarterback with a sore knee, assuming he plays, I don't think he can try and turn this into a track meet. I don't think that the Saints will allow that. So I think they got to run it, and I think they got to try and protect. And I think both. It's weird. Sometimes an offensive team wants a 35-28 game, right? And a defensive team wants a 17-13 game. I think both of these teams expect this game in the teens. If the winning team has more than 23 or 24 points in this game, I'd be very surprised. So I think the Jags know how good the Saints are defensively. They're tough, they're physical, and I think the Jags have to be ready for that.
Well, the Saints might be very familiar with playing a game in the teens because that's basically all they've done, Frank, because they can't score. The total in the game, by the way, is 40, and the line is 1. So you're looking at a game right there in the teens, maybe the low 20s. Two more for you. If it comes down to a kick, how about McManus? How confident? I mean, look, it's been a big issue with the Saints with Blake Grupe, with the rookie kicker. If it comes down to a kick, how are the Jags feeling about McManus right now?
He's really good. Remember, they had Riley Patterson last year, who wasn't bad. He's now the Lions kicker. Brought him in last year, made the big kick to beat the Chargers. You'll remember that, and the big comeback. Mm-hmm. They thought they had a pretty good kicker, but then McManus became available, and they said, listen, sorry, Riley, we have one of the better kickers in the league. He's 12 out of 14 on the season. He made 3 last week. 48, 49, and 51, and I'm telling you, Matt, they were right down the middle. So there's a confidence level, and you know this. You call plays different when you're confident in your kicker. So if it's that kind of game that we both expect, no, I think they're very confident. They have a really good special teams here. I mean, I will tell you this. I've done this 10 years. I've followed the team and covered the team forever. It's my 10th year calling the games. I would say Logan Cook, the punter, now with McManus here, with Jamal Agnew, the return guy. In my years of calling the games for sure, and honestly, Matt, maybe the whole time, the 29 years they've had a franchise, this is about as good as the special teams have been. This is a good group. So I think, to your question, I would say very confident if it comes down to that. I really would.
What is you mentioned we'll probably see a game in the teens, but what is the blueprint for Doug Peterson to get in and get out Thursday Night Football, get out of the dome with a win?
Protect the quarterback because he's probably going to play hurt a little bit. Take care of the ball. I think they really, I can just tell you, being around them, they have a lot of respect for the Saints defense. They're a takeaway team. The Jags lead the NFL in takeaways. That's one thing that Bob Sutton is kind of the senior advisor here. Mike Caldwell is a coordinator, but Bob Sutton's one of those guys. Every team's got that senior advisor that's been around the league 100 years, right? And he's a takeaway guy. And they are really good. I mean, one cornerback, Darius Williams, has 3 interceptions. Andre Sisco, remember that name, by the way. He's going to be a Pro Bowl safety. He's really good. He's got 3 interceptions. So I think maybe win the turnover battle. That sounds cliche, but I think in this game you got to try and do that. I think protect your quarterback. I think don't do anything dumb and try and get out of there with a 23-16 win. I think that's the blueprint for this week. In that stadium against that team, I think that's the blueprint. I think if I was Doug Peterson, that's certainly what I would be thinking.
He is Frank Frangie, 1010XL in Jacksonville, and the radio voice of the Jaguars. You can get him on Twitter at Frank_Frangie. Give him a follow. Frank, it's always a pleasure, man. We appreciate a couple of minutes. Thanks for the time.
Matt, anytime. I'm going to have some of that etouffee and all that good stuff when I get over there. So thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
Way better than fish and chips?
Way better. I promise you, way better.
That's got to be. Frank Frangie. We appreciate Frank, as always, for a couple minutes. Frank's great. Frank does afternoons on 1010XL in Jacksonville with Lauren Brooks. Of course, you might remember Lauren Brooks and I had the push-up bet about Jameis a couple of years ago. Another person who backed out of a bet they lost to me. Although, technically, there's like an asterisk on the Lauren Brooks bet, right? Because the bet was, she said Jameis wouldn't make it to Week 8 as the starter. Well, made it to Week 7. They were 5-2, and then he got hurt. So, technically, he didn't make it to Week 8, but she was saying that he would get benched. I felt bad.
She would have lost the bet.
I have so much respect for Lauren Brooks, but that was a squirrely escape route to get out of one you know you lost. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I got you. She owes you.
She's better. She's better than that. Lauren's better than that. Is Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Ocho Cinco, better than that? We'll find out here in a couple of months. All right. It is After Further Review, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Hey, remember, you can always go to the website, hit the New Vehicles tab there at the top. You can search inventory. Every vehicle, if it's on the lot, it's online. I say that every day. The really cool thing about South Point is it's not like factory stock photos. Like, you will see pictures of the actual vehicle that's there on the lot at South Point Volkswagen. You could see the wide shot photo. You could see the interior photos as well. Great thing is you could work out financing at the website. I mean, you could literally have everything done. So you just show up, sign some papers, and you walk out and drive out with a brand new vehicle at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, we're gonna a couple of things we're switching up this week. Normally we do overrated, underrated, but we're going to do our Pluckers Trivia segment now. Normally on Wednesday, Pluckers Trivia, we do it in hour 3, but with Russ Mitchell having a couple segments in hour 3, it's been compressed the last few weeks. We said, hey, let's wipe out overrated, underrated. Let's do Pluckers Trivia here. So we'll do that when we come back. Oh, Muse. How do you feel about Taylor Swift?
I respect the talent and how great she is as a performer. I do not know most of her music, and I feel like that's where this is going.
There might be a few Taylor Swift questions.
All right.
There might be. Swifties unite! Get out to Pluckers tonight for Pluckers Trivia. Whoa! Erica's going to want to go. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, look, I get to tell you about Pluckers right now. Award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar. Pluckers has been voted a top 10 wing restaurant in America by USA Today and a top 5 sports bar by ESPN. I mean, when you think about the best sports bars in the country, places where you're going to go eat great bar food, in this case, award-winning jumbo chicken wings, not those little bitty wings, and you know what I'm talking about. These are jumbo chicken wings. Drink a ton of ice-cold draft beer. Of course, full-service bar. Every sporting event on TV. You go to the Bluebonnet location, they have the 8-foot by 13-foot TV wall. It's incredible. It's Pluckers. Why would you go anywhere else? Tonight and every Wednesday, it's trivia night at both Pluckers locations. 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. Remember, you have football every night of the week, like through November now. So get on by Pluckers. Got some games tonight as well. Pluckers, if you like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Here at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, we have in stock 2023 Toyota Tundras, and you can get 1,000 special edition bonus cash. $1,000 bonus cash. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Glad to have you rolling along with us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR. Russ Mitchell in about 45 minutes from right now. We'll recap the weekend that was, preview the weekend ahead in the Southeastern Conference. You do have a couple of college football games tonight. FIU at Sam Houston, and New Mexico State at UTEP. So you got football every night of the week, like through November. So it's awesome. I mean, it's just a great time of year. Love the month of October. Got the NBA preseason action tonight as well. Got Houston at Texas, Game 3 of the ALCS tonight. That series shifts to Arlington. So great night. Great night to get on by Pluckers. And, of course, trivia, hit him, Muse. Let's go. All right. Anytime, whenever you're ready. Yeah, there we go. Okay. It is. A little quicker on the draw. Pew, pew. You know, Muse, if you were in the Old West, you'd be dead right now.
Sorry, our engineer, Bo Wegman, texted me, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't anything.
Our engineer, Bo Wegman, texted me.
Wanted to make sure it wasn't anything urgent, and it wasn't. It was just a picture of the LSU camo end zones.
Our engineer, Bo Wegman, just texted me pictures of the LSU camo end zones.
It happened. I saw it.
Actually, Paulie, did you see what time it is?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Of course you were, yeah.
You know, Paulie, it's radio. You don't need to just think it. You can say it. And people all over the world can hear it.
This is true.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I tell you, it's a very appropriate time for Muso to have a severely delayed reaction, huh? Oh, Muse. Had a manager's meeting today.
Yeah. How'd that go?
What do you think of... So, Paulie, I need your input here as well. So, for those that don't know, the blind date contest with Muso, it's happening.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
It's happening, okay? We are working out all of the fine details right now. But our ops manager, Chris Elliott, said, what about if we call it Matchmaker? Because your name's Matt, my name's Matt.
Yeah.
Matchmaker.
I kind of like it.
I don't hate it. Here's the problem with it. You have to see it. It's it's visual to make sense. It's it would be a homophone. Sounds the same, spelled differently.
Yeah.
Right? M-A-T-T, caps. You get to see the visual.
What if you always enunciated it like you just did?
Yeah, but then it just feels odd.
Okay.
The match maker. And you don't really go mat and match. You just say match. It's not match maker. Paulie, what do you think?
I don't hate it. I do
But you
feel
don't like it?
You would have to explain it a little bit if you didn't see it.
See, that's the problem. We'll workshop it a bit more. If you got ideas, let me know. And more importantly, if you know a young lady that might be interested in an Aqua concert, a free dinner, a ride to New Orleans with, or you know, if you live in New Orleans to meet an Aqua concert at the Fillmore, because we have the commitment. I told you I was going to buy the ticket if we didn't get it sponsored by Fillmore or whatever. Guarantees on board, like they'll buy the tickets.
All right,
so out of the promotions budget. So I mean, it's happening. I don't even have to spend the money now.
Really good tickets
It's
too
happening.
now. I mean,
hey, let's remember who we're talking about here. It's Gordy.
That's true.
I mean, it took me 7 years of bitching on air about a chair to finally get a chair.
That is true.
At least Musa's getting in the building.
Yeah,
I'm going to be in like the balcony in the last row.
You're in the building, okay? Hope she ain't fancy.
Yeah.
Anyway. Because when we first started talking about it, people were throwing out like, hey, I got the perfect girl from you. So there's going to be a way that you'll be able to send your I don't want to call it an application. That sounds...
That sounds a little...
You understand your entry, whatever. So it'll be... And I want to do it privately. We don't want people to put it on social media because some people may not want that to be on social media.
For sure.
So that's fine. So we'll have a private portal through our promotions contest where people will be able to go submit, a little bio about themselves, here, maybe a short video, picture, whatever. Here I am. Here's who I am. Here's what I do. Blah blah blah. And then I get to be the sole judge, jury, executioner here, Muse. I'm the one who gets to pick your date.
That part still makes me a tad nervous. I can't.
Do you honestly think that I would screw you? Come on.
I hope not.
Muse.
I feel like we're better friends than that.
Muse, come on. I'll find the closest to a Rastafarian-looking woman that I can find. Will be down with your 420
this is
habits.
the problem. This is where that slight doubt creeps in.
What's in it, Polly? All right, let's get some trivia. Every Wednesday, 7:30 Blue Bonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Trivia over at Pluckers. Win Pluckers gift card, spin the prize wheel, all that good stuff. Muse.
Yeah.
What is the name of the Test cricket series played between England and Australia at least every 2 years?
What?
Not a big cricket fan?
No. What does Test cricket mean?
I mean, Muse, if I have to explain everything to you. I mean,
you don't know what that means, do you?
Yes, it's the series played between Australia and England at least every 2 years.
I thought the question was, what is the name of the series?
What is the name of the series?
Well, you said there was the Test cricket series.
Yes. What is the name of the series?
What? The battle for the Queen's mug.
That's a hell of a guess. That's not right. Of course, everyone knows it's called The Ashes.
Yeah,
The
sure.
Ashes is what we were looking
Everyone
for.
knows
Not
that.
so smart without your cards, are you, Trebek?
Everyone listening knows
This one,
that.
however, I think you will get, Muse. Which Kansas City Chief appeared as himself at the end of Saturday Night Live this past weekend, parodying an NFL broadcast arguing over his alleged dating life?
Well, that would have to be Travis Kelce.
That would be Travis Kelce. Did you see it?
I did not see it.
Oh, you didn't see
no.
it? You didn't even see the clip?
I haven't. The clip I've seen most from Saturday Night Live is the Coach Prime. Is Keenan Thompson as Coach Prime.
Well, it was not
Which was
that
very
skit.
well done.
That was well done by Keenan Thompson. For sure, Keenan Thompson's great. But,
He is.
they're doing like Fox NFL Sunday. And so they have a new reporter, and all the reporters just keep talking, and then Howie and Terry, they all just keep talking about the Kelce Taylor Swift thing. Anyway. Keenan Thompson is playing Kurt Menefee, and he's trying to get him to stay and talk football. Stay on track, and they keep talking about Taylor and Kelce. All right, here we go. On that same SNL episode aired this past weekend, which fellow musician introduced musical guest Ice Spice's encore performance?
Wait, fellow musician?
The episode that aired this past weekend, which fellow musician introduced musical guest Ice Spice's encore performance?
Oh, wow. That I have no idea. Was it Taylor Swift?
Come on!
Oh, look at that!
Yeah! Yes!
a winning
finally have a
day.
winning week. Oh, my God.
Love to see it.
We can all die happy.
Yeah, love to see it.
I tell you, Muse finally got him a winning week. I mean, I don't think we've had one ever.
No, we've had one before.
I don't think we've had one ever.
Yes, we've had one before.
I don't, Paul, have we ever had one?
Not that I can
Yeah,
remember.
I don't think we've had one ever.
Yeah, we have absolutely had one before. The wrestling week.
No.
We did. We went 2-1 that week, actually. Yeah, we did. Check the tape.
We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Muse, all the girls are going to be lined up staring through those windows just like,
It's a good thing I got the Taylor Swift questions right. Otherwise, that'd have been bad.
Muse, pick me. Well, he doesn't get to pick. Whenever Muse gets married to the future Mrs. Muso and they buy their first home and they go replace their windows, you know who they're going to call? Relief Windows. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. That's when Erica and I got married. We bought our first home, and then Drew came along. Drew's bedroom, the window faced the street. It was the window that was nearest the street, and so we wanted it to be quiet. Obviously, when he's sleeping and everything. So we had Relief Windows come install a soundproof window in that bedroom. So we have been Relief Windows customers quite literally for as long as Eric and I have been married and own homes. So Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Nobody's better. They measure twice, install once, experience quality and service. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, it's after further review. Well, now I got a break. Muse will do Tigers in the Pros. I believe we're going to get a pretty rambunctious yell pertaining to a certain high school in town in the next segment. That dude finna get broke off too, man. All right, we'll get to that. Tigers in the Pros. Russ Mitchell in 30 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, I want to remind you, coming up next week over at Tallulah. Tallulah, of course, inside of the Renaissance Hotel. You've heard me talk about Tallulah for months now. Tallulah's having their Oktoberfest, not to be confused with the beer celebration, the German beer celebration. This is spelled traditionally, Oktoberfest. It's next Wednesday, the 25th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at Tallulah. A Noel Family Distillery will be there. Rally Cap Brewing will be there. And there will be handcrafted food from Tallulah there as well. It'll be indoor, outdoor. We also talk about the terrace right there at Tallulah, which is a gorgeous setting. With the weather being so nice, it's perfect to get outside for outdoor events. So if you're looking for something to do, again, next Wednesday at Tallulah, it's their Oktoberfest from 6 to 8 p.m. featuring Noel Family Distillery, Rally Cap Brewing, and, of course, Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. And we have 5 pair of tickets to give away. We'll be doing that here in the coming days. Tallulah at the Renaissance.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A shooting 2 days apart in different parishes have authorities looking into whether they are connected. An 8-year-old was shot in Carville last Thursday. 2 days later, his 15-year-old brother was shot at a Popeyes in Dutchtown in Ascension Parish. The investigative unit piecing together the bizarre coincidence and asking law enforcement about similarities. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
John via the text line. Hey, Matt. My daughter likes to smoke weed.
That makes one of us, John.
Christopher. All the potheads like the shady seats way up at the top in dark places. Muso will love it.
It's terrible. Why would I want to be all the way? No, I'd rather be down close. You know, enjoying the show there, Chris. To fur.
You're getting Polly.
That was good.
No worries. We'll get to the cheap seats. Muso love it. No one's going to bother you while you're toking a few.
Yeah. Man.
Sean says
sides are just splitting over here.
T-Bob gets a 1% say in the date. The hell would I let T-Bob have anything to do with
I don't
it?
understand. Was this supposed to be some sort of, I didn't get that one. Okay.
No.
No, I'd let T-Bob. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I'd let him have a 1% say, sure.
Great, he's got a 1% say, which means you've got no say whatsoever.
Not necessarily. I mean, 1%.
As long as I've got 51%, your say doesn't matter at all. And I've got 99%. And T-Bob ain't one. Muso has Tigers in the Pros.
Not yet.
Yeah! Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Okay, now, Aaron Nola. I would love to just sit here and talk about the zone he was in last night, but the fact of the matter is, guy's been in a zone the entire postseason. His third win, he's 3-0. Threw 6 shutout last night, no walks, 7 punches.
Well, that's literally the same pitch you keep showing over.
A 0.
I can keep watching it, but it's just the same thing.
.96 ERA in the postseason for Aaron Nola.
Is that good?
That's excellent. The knuckle curve was filthy. The two-seamer was just, I mean, it was like you had a brush all night. It was painted
Wonder where
so
we learned
well.
how to pitch like that, Muse.
Well, Alan Dunn was pretty darn good.
Yeah,
Matt,
you know what?
Great pitching coach at LSU there for a long time.
Nola showed up at LSU already shoving. Don't get it sideways, and you know that's true.
I do. Who could forget the shutout against Tulane for his first start? And he's carried that all over to the Phillies, who are steamrolling through the postseason.
How much money is he going to make?
He is going to make a lot. And look, he was never going to be cheap this offseason. He's just even more expensive now.
Aaron Nola NIL Fund. Come on down.
There you go. His next start could be in this series or potentially the World Series. ALCS action tonight. Alex Bregman, a little change in the Houston lineup. Bregman's going to go down to the 3-hole tonight against the Texas Rangers. Had been hitting 2 majority of the year and of the postseason. For what it's worth, they'll face Max Scherzer. Bregman 1 for 10 in his career against Mad Max. He'll get another shot tonight. NFL, Tyrann Mathieu, of course, Thursday Night Football tomorrow. Mathieu listed as questionable with a foot injury on the final injury report. Was limited in practice all week. Game time decision tomorrow. And finally, golf getting underway tomorrow. The Zozo Championship in Japan.
Let me hear it.
Ben Taylor in the field. He will tee off, because this is in Japan, at 8:13 p.m. Central Daylight Time tomorrow.
Love it.
We'll see what he can do. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Oh, what about Curtis Thompson?
He is not in the field.
Well, what event's
there
he
is
playing?
there is no Corn Ferry event.
Well, what's he doing this
Actually,
weekend?
the only event this week is the PGA Tour in Zozo. So I don't know what he's doing now.
So why wouldn't you find out?
Because it doesn't have anything to do with golf, I don't think, right now.
How do you know?
He's probably just taking some time off.
Maybe you could actually do your job and find out what Curtis Thompson's doing this weekend.
He's chilling.
Maybe he's caddying for Lexi somewhere.
I don't think so. Although, she's awesome. Goodness gracious. Real impressive showing last
And so
week.
is Curtis.
He's great, too.
But
Love
you hate him.
I don't.
You hate him.
That's Tigers in the Pros.
It's so disappointing how much you dislike him. This is a segment where you should be talking about Tigers in the Pros, and routinely you ignore Curtis. I'm going to get him in studio one day.
I do not ignore him at all.
I'm going to get Curtis in studio one day. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge goes to get engaged. All right, hour 3 next. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. 2 locations. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. You cannot miss the location on Bluebonnet. I mean, when they bought that building on Bluebonnet near Perkins and renovated it, it just became the showpiece on Bluebonnet in that stretch between Highland and Perkins. And, of course, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette. You know, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana does an amazing job of helping people feel young again. And we're not just talking about something figurative. We're talking about something very literal. You know, as we age, our body produces less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. If you want to feel like you did when you were in your 20s, you can. Hormone replacement therapy is a safe, effective, affordable way to feel like you did when you were 20. Rev up your metabolism, burn fat, build muscle, have more energy, sleep better at night. You can do it. Learn more online, theantiagingclinics.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The 76ers expected James Harden to show up and participate in practice today. He did not. Harden's in Houston, remains frustrated over the lack of progress in a potential trade to the Clippers. This latest move by Harden is not a surprise considering what he did in OKC, Houston, and Brooklyn, says ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
This is how he's operated in the past. Like I said, his track record is he's got what he's wanted. He has faced very little to no repercussions for it. And so from his perspective, this move makes sense. He's gotten rewarded for this, and the downside is minimal.
Brian Windhorst on NBA Today. 76ers regular season opener is 8 days away. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson will have season-ending shoulder surgery. Gardner Minshew starts the remainder of the season. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence, knee injury, questionable tomorrow night against the Saints. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Jets trading receiver Mecole Hardman back to the Chiefs in a deal that involves a swap of 2025 late-round draft picks. ALCS Game 3, Astros down 2-0. Visit the Rangers, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Got tangled in my headphone wire. Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's hump day.
It's hump day.
Russ Mitchell in 12 minutes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Wonder if Russ Mitchell's going to pick Kentucky to beat Georgia again.
Hump day.
Well, they don't play each other this week, Matt, so probably not.
It's hump day.
I just wanted to point out again that Russ Mitchell picked Kentucky to beat Georgia.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Hey, Muse.
Yeah.
What was the final score of that game?
51-13, Georgia.
It's hump day.
Oh, you mean Kentucky didn't beat Georgia?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Not even close.
What an idiot.
It's hump day.
He also picked Missouri to beat LSU that week.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He was close.
Hump day.
Yeah, he was close.
It's hump day.
Mike Triplett was here in hour 1.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Frank Frangie, the voice of the Jaguars, was here in hour 2.
Hump day.
Russ Mitchell will be here in 10 minutes now.
It's hump day.
And Muse finally won at trivia.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Way to go, Muse.
Hump day.
Thanks.
All right, let's get cranking here. A lot to do. So we'll have 2 segments with Russ. We'll get to Otter Lock. So let me do my my Saints-Jags preview and pick here since we'll hang on. Had to sneeze.
Tight.
Sorry, I had to sneeze. Live radio, what happens? Dennis Allen met with reporters earlier in the day on Wednesday. Jacksonville traveled today to New Orleans after a walkthrough, and then they'll play the game, obviously, on Thursday. Dennis Allen was asked if they were preparing for this game as if Trevor Lawrence was going to play for Jacksonville. Here's what he said.
Are you guys preparing like Trevor Lawrence is going to play, or?
Yeah, that's the preparation. I mean, obviously we're preparing for, the offensive scheme, and we're preparing for Trevor Lawrence. Yeah.
Lawrence, we talked about on Tuesday, went through the walkthrough with a brace on his knee. Lawrence did meet with reporters after practice on Tuesday, and it sounds like he's going to try to give it a go.
I'm gonna do everything I can to be out there. I feel a lot better today than I would have thought. So I like how I'm progressing, and I'm gonna do everything I can to be out there on Thursday. If
Lawrence can't go, it'll be C.J. Beathard. Beathard has not started an NFL game since the end of the COVID season in San Francisco, but he took the reps, the ones I'd say this week, really just the last couple of days. But here was Trevor Lawrence in his confidence in C.J. Beathard. If it is Beathard, that has to go for Jacksonville.
Really confident. That's a guy, he prepares every week like he's the starter. He's always ready for that opportunity, and we talk a lot during the week. We watch tape together. All the quarterbacks do. So he's going to be prepared either way like he's a starter. Whether I was kind of, questionable going into the game or not, he still prepares the same way. So I got a lot of confidence in him. I know our staff does. Our players do. I think that's a big thing too. The guys up front, the guys in the perimeter, backfield, all that, they all have a lot of faith in him. So he's a guy that's ready to step in. If that's needed, he's going to do great.
So for whatever it's worth, C.J. Beathard did speak with reporters and about the possibility of him playing or Lawrence. This is what C.J. Beathard had to say.
That's a tough question. Most of them. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking about taking first-team practice reps. My apologies.
You know Trevor as well as anybody. What do you put on his ability to maybe want to play and maybe?
Shoot, I mean, I've been here 2.5 years with him, and he hasn't missed a single game. So he's as tough as they come, and I know he's doing anything and everything he can right now to be ready to play. And I mean, that's still very likely that he plays this week. So.
How comfortable are you if you have to start?
Very comfortable. I mean, it's my 7th year in the league. I've started a handful of games, and I got a real good feel with the group of guys and everything, and the plays and all that stuff. So, yeah.
So that's just to sort of set the table a little bit. Dennis Allen and the Saints are preparing as if Lawrence is going to play. Lawrence just sounds like he's intending on giving it a go. But C.J. Beathard took the majority of the reps with the first team this week in the event that Lawrence isn't able to go. It's a tough turnaround. I mean, the Jags spent 2 weeks in London. They come home. They blow out the Colts in the final 3 minutes. Lawrence gets his knee twisted up. MRI. Thankfully, no damage there. It's just a sprain. But, how serviceable can he really be, 96 hours after an injury like that? Don't know. I guess we'll find out. But in the event that it's Beathard, that's a tall task against the Saints defense. See, here's the reality with this game. I understand fully why we're talking about Trevor Lawrence. We, on this show, have been talking about the quarterbacks the Saints are going to face all year since the summer, where, you've probably heard it by now, but the point I made, the clip we did where Muse was rattling off the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and I just kept saying, Saints don't play him, Saints don't play, because the Saints don't play any good quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence is probably the best quarterback that the Saints play. Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. Am I leaving anybody else off? I mean, that's probably the 3 best quarterbacks the Saints are going to face. You could argue Lawrence is the best quarterback the Saints are going to face this year. And he's got a bum wheel, may not even play. So I get why we're having the conversation about Lawrence, because former number 1 pick and all that stuff. But we're having the wrong conversation. The conversation is, can the Saints get off their ass and go score points? I mean, the Saints offense is atrocious. So, you score 13 points on the road against the Texans. You have 3 red zone trips and come away with no points. Yes, you scored 34 in New England, but I keep pointing out 17 of those were off of turnovers, and 1 was a defensive score. It wasn't like your offense was just awesome. You didn't get in the end zone in your building against Tampa Bay. You scored 17 on the road against Green Bay, and 7 of those were a punt return for a touchdown. Your offense scored 10 points. Your offense stinks. Like, I'm not telling you something you don't know, but this offense is bad. They're 24th in the NFL. They score 18 a game. Like, can you get going at all? The good news for New Orleans is your defense is great. Your defense is 6th in the NFL, allowing 16 points a game. And now you're either going to face C.J. Beathard or a hobbled Trevor Lawrence. Advantage Saints. Primetime Dome. The Saints have been great in the Dome over the years. I know that it's hardly an automatic win for the Saints anymore in the Dome in primetime. But I think the Saints defense is going to be fine whether Lawrence is healthy or not. They're a good defense, and I think they're going to play well. The question is, can the Saints go score points against Jacksonville? And I don't think I've seen anything to suggest that they will. Like, I don't think that all of a sudden you're going to have this giant breakthrough for the Saints offense and they're going to go put up, 30 points in this ball game against a good Jacksonville defense, which is allowing about 20 a game. I think that's probably about right, that both these teams hit their averages. I think Vegas has it right. And by the way, I told you last Friday, if you were here, I picked the Texans last Friday. And when I made that pick, I said, but get ready because I'm picking the Saints to beat Jacksonville. And a huge part of that is Thursday Night Football. Spots matter, not just who you play, but when and where you play them. When you have to travel on a short week in the NFL, it is a disadvantage. There's no other way to say it. When you have to play on a short week in the NFL, it's a disadvantage. We talked about this with the Saints whenever they had to go up to Green Bay because you played on Monday Night Football in Carolina on the road, and then you had to go play on a short week in Green Bay. And we went through the stats. Teams that play on on a short week coming off Monday Night Football win about 45% of the time. You win less than 50% of the time when you play a short week. And keep in mind, the Saints were playing on the road on Monday Night Football, had to come home and then go on the road after the short week, which lowered your percentage even more. So if you're looking at a Thursday night now with Jacksonville having played, they were in London for 11 days. They come home. They play Indy. Now, quick turnaround with an injured quarterback, have to come to New Orleans on the road again. The Saints are ripe for a bounce back after all the questions this week about Pete Carmichael, his job status. Just a disappointing, a devastating loss in Houston in a game that you should have won, but you only go put up 13 points. It's a bounce back spot for New Orleans. It's a short week for Jacksonville traveling, on the road on the short week. I like the Saints in the spot, and I think the Saints win this game. I'm picking the Saints. I wrote it down. What did I pick? 21-17 is the score I picked. So I like the Saints to win it in the Dome to get a win. But the problem is I think the Saints are going to go to Indy next week and lose. So that's the lot in life of an inconsistent team. It's one step forward, 2 steps back, and that's the perpetual state in which you live. To be a really good team in the NFL, you have to be able to string together wins, and the Saints aren't capable of doing that because they're not capable of being consistent. The only consistent thing with this team is the defense. I think the defense plays very well, and the Saints managed to win a game in the Dome on Thursday Night Football. So I will pick the Saints to beat Jacksonville tomorrow night. We'll give you plenty of last-minute previews and all that sort of stuff as we lead you up to kickoff. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Russ Mitchell joins us next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hey, Monday, the state of Louisiana announced the second round of fortified roofing grants. Remember, fortified roofing is designed as an extra layer of protection for your home. Yes, you could still have wind damage, but it's designed to prevent water intrusion. So go to the website, HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com. Remember, Hudco services the entire state, no matter where you are. Baton Rouge, Bossier, Lafayette, Lake Charles, NOLA, it doesn't matter where you are. We service the entire state of Louisiana. If you're interested in learning about the state grant program for fortified roofs, up to $10,000, go to the Hudco Roofing website, HudcoRoofing.com. There's a green fortified button on the homepage. Click the green fortified button. You can fill out the contact form. We can help walk you through the process and get you approved for one of these grants. HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. That's Hudco Roofing and online at HudcoRoofing.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Go Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Russ Mitchell.
Kicking the tires and lighting the fires. Russ! Literally.
Well, I'm proud of Russ. I think Russ deserves it.
Rusty, come on up here. Absolutely, I thought that was going to happen because it's state. It's supposed to happen.
You know, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you man to man, Russ.
How are things out there at DBU?
I want you to stay here and take care of things, Russ.
Nothing heals an offense like playing Texas A&M.
Not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room.
Just like Troy.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ?
Put your foot on his throat and choke him out.
Take it, Russ.
It gets better every time. All right, let's do it. Russ Mitchell, college football news. Good enough to hang out with us here. How are you?
Oh, kicking the tires, lighting the fires. Here you go. This is the visual. You got to look up. Look at that.
Is that a Shaq bobblehead?
You know, I went to school with Shaq. Did you know that? I had 3 classes with him, 3 different classes.
Okay. I thought you might have been done before he got there because you're really old.
I'm not that old. Jesus wept. Am I allowed to flip you off on this? Or is
actually,
this...
yes. No.
Yeah,
Jimmy. No.
You can't say yes and then say no.
Because I was thinking YouTube is fine, but we're also on WBTR. So, no, you can't do that on WBTR. Okay. Sorry, Trey. Sorry, Jake. Our apologies. It's his fault.
We're all learning. We're all learning this. We're learning. We're learning.
I'll own it. Hey, how about that Kentucky-Georgia game a couple weeks ago?
Can we move on, man? Seriously, let's move on. We can talk about Georgia if you want to, but let's move on.
I do want to talk about Brock Bowers. Like, do you think their schedule? They play nobody. There's no. I don't think there's a real threat. But what does not having Brock Bowers mean for their championship hopes?
The thing that concerns me most about Georgia is, like, when Alabama was really good, when they were really, really humming, like, they showed up for every game. It didn't matter who it was. They would score 45 points, and then, they'd put it in. They'd score like 35 points in the first half and 7 points in the second half, and cruise, right? And that's not what you have with this Georgia team, right? Doesn't matter who they're playing, Vanderbilt, Auburn, South Carolina, they sleepwalk. Then suddenly there's a game that they're paying attention to, Kentucky, and they score 51 points. So, like, when you look at the rest of their schedule, I don't think Florida's going to challenge them. Missouri, Ole Miss, maybe in Neyland if it's a big game, then, but there's not really another team on the schedule that's got the talent they have. Could Ole Miss in Sanford Stadium do it? I don't think so. But this team is not playing as well as those Saban teams did that just dialed it in and went. So does not having someone like Bowers, I mean, would they have won that South Carolina game without Bowers? I don't know.
I mean, probably.
I think so too, but we shouldn't be guessing. This is the two-time defending national champion. So, I mean, I don't think it should matter, but I expect them to be playing better than this with this kind of talent, this kind of coaching staff. They shouldn't be relying on one kid who's exemplary, to come off the bench. They should be playing with more intensity for every game.
Here's a good way of saying it. Like, if you would have taken Jamar Chase off of 2019 LSU, Jamar Chase was magnificent.
Yes.
You still have Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall. You're probably still good.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
He was the best receiver in the country. You probably still win it.
Absolutely. Not only would you have still won it, you still would have scored as many points. It's just Jefferson would have had to have performed a little bit better. Marshall would have had to perform a little bit better. Somebody would have stepped up on that team and performed better. If you had taken one player off of any one of those Alabama teams that I was talking about during that peak period, they still score 35 points in the first half and 7 in the second half. They still play that way. I don't think Georgia's playing that way. So does not having Bowers, even with this week's schedule, make a difference? Yeah, it could.
Yeah. What about, are you coming around? Is Jimbo done?
Actually, yeah. You know what? I think Jimbo is done. $77 million, right? Isn't that what the hat's got to be?
So if you look at money, take $77 million to leave, please.
If you look at their schedule, right, they still have at Ole Miss and at LSU. This team that's not that good is going to go up against arguably the two best offenses in this conference. I don't think they can keep up with that. Their defenses are good, but on the road at Ole Miss, on the road at LSU, against those offenses, I don't think they can keep up.
So,
which means they're 7-5. 7-5, man. At what point do you not say, look, we know what this is. We know what we're getting with this cat. He can recruit. It's not like they've had bad recruiting classes.
Yeah.
So at what point do you say we're spending a lot of money here and not getting our return?
And even if they go 7-5, Russ, even if they go 8-4, that would be a 3-game improvement over a year ago.
Yeah.
But the problem is 5-7 is never acceptable. And 8-4 is nauseating considering all of the resources they put in to consistently go 8-4.
Not only that, what's their big win?
Bama.
Right? This year.
Oh, this year.
If they go 8-4, I suppose that means they would win at Ole Miss or at LSU.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's happening. So I think they're 7-5. If they're 7-5, what's their big win this year, man?
Yeah.
Like Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Arkansas's their big win.
They got to play South Carolina. I mean that. But that's a 2-win
Yeah,
South
exactly.
Carolina. Yeah, exactly.
It would be South Carolina at home. That would be their big win of this season. That's not good enough.
Russ Mitchell's with us at Russ Mitchell CFB. Joins us every Wednesday here. We talk some college football. On the flip side of it, just in a matter of a couple of weeks, the way our tone and tenor has changed. What about Florida? Like, Muse seems to believe their offense is actually good.
Next year, you're going to ask me about LSU's defense.
I am going to ask you about LSU's defense. But
look,
our friend Muse here did bring up some good points that Florida has statistically. No, I agree with you, but just to set the stage, Florida is scoring 30 a game. They're throwing for 280 a game. Mertz just threw for 350 this past week at South Carolina, which has the worst pass defense in the country. So, are they good? Is Florida actually good on offense?
Moose. So in October,
to you. Go ahead.
In October,
what I said was that what I said was
Moose,
that Graham Mertz is better than I thought he would be in Napier's system, which is true.
Moose.
Yeah.
Don't ever interrupt me. Don't ever interrupt me. All right. So Florida's got the third best offense in October in the SEC, right? Third best offense in October. And you say to yourself, yeah, that's against South Carolina and Vanderbilt, who right now in October are like 12 and 13 in the conference. And you can say, well, that's because October's they had to play Florida. But if you look at for the whole season, Vanderbilt and South Carolina have the 13th and 14th worst. Vanderbilt and South Carolina have the 13th and 14th worst defenses in the SEC for the whole season. So, Florida's offense has done well in October, but it's against the worst defenses in the SEC.
Yeah, we'll find out.
No, Florida's offense is not any good.
Florida still has to play Georgia, Arkansas, at LSU, at Missouri, Florida State. We're going to find out a lot about Florida in the month of November. They'll have their opportunity to prove if they're a fraud or not. Hey, let me ask you about this LSU defense, man. They get 4 stops in the second half against Missouri. They lay the wood on Auburn. Now they get to play Army. They're going to put Army in a chokehold. Tell you what, Russ, the arrow's pointing up, man. You got to admit it. Arrow is pointing up for this LSU defense.
If you're on the bottom, the only way you can point up is up. It's the only direction to go. There's no
only way
down.
You can point up is up.
There's the only way. You can clip that. You can clip that and add that.
Muse is already on it.
I know, Moose. Our team right now, like I've got it here in front of me. Our passing defense is 116th in the nation. Our rushing defense is 115th in the nation, right? In average, which is what really matters, right? It's, how many carries, what are you giving up per run? We're giving up almost 5 yards a carry.
We're giving up 5 yards a carry?
4.89 yards a carry. And it's just, that is putrid, man. I don't have the historic numbers. Have we ever given up 5 yards a carry? Ever. Not even 2020.
What was 2020?
Have we ever given up 5 yards a carry for a season?
What was 2020?
Actually, you know what? I have that in front of me. Hold on for a sec. 2020.
Sure. We're just doing right
average. No. Close. 4.88.
Too close.
Pretty close.
All right.
We're worse. We're worse this year. So I'm not going to get excited. I mean, you cannot, if you're an LSU, if you're following this LSU football team, you cannot get excited about the last couple of weeks against Missouri and Auburn. It's interesting. We're talking about how historically bad this LSU defense is. Boy, Auburn's pass offense was atrocious.
I know.
In that game. Their offense period was atrocious on Saturday, but there's nothing that I've seen over the last 2 weeks that's making me feel at all excited about LSU's defense.
Okay, we got a break. We'll come back. We'll look at the games this weekend, including Tennessee headed to Tuscaloosa. That's the big one in the SEC. Russ Mitchell's with us. College football news at Russ Mitchell CFB. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Remember the drill, y'all. Pre-season heater safety check. Do not, it's been in the 40s in the morning. Do not crank up that heater without calling River City's 1 Hour Air first. Let them come by. They'll check out your heater. They get it clean, tuned up, running efficiently, running safely. And you'll save $30 when you mention the Moscona special. Love sharing these 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Laura Marchisi, who said, Chris, the technician, was great. He showed up within an hour of my call late at night and took care of the problem right away. I really appreciate the quick response. Please know that Chris is a wonderful asset to your company. Another 5-star Google review from River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town. Your friends and neighbors trust River City's 1 Hour Air just like I do. If I have an issue, I call 752-0001. 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
We're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means
It's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, we got to move quickly here. Only 5 games on the docket this weekend. Russ Mitchell, of course, is with us every single Wednesday here at Russ Mitchell CFB College Football News. Do you want to start with the big one? You want to start with Bama hosting Tennessee?
Sure. Alabama's defense has been playing better as we've gone along, but this is still the team that lost by 10 at home to Texas. It's not the 2011 run defense at all. To me, this game, there's a lot of interesting facets to this game, but what's most interesting is going to be, can Tennessee run the ball in Tuscaloosa? Since they lost to Florida, this Tennessee team has put up more than 800 yards rushing in their last 3 games, including against A&M, who has the number one or had the number one run defense.
It's a good number.
Why it's important is because I don't trust Milton at all. So if this Alabama defense, run defense, can make Tennessee one-dimensional and put it on Milton's shoulders, do you think he can win it in Tuscaloosa? And I don't think so. So again, I think this season has been more to me about home field than any year that I've followed college football, and I like Alabama.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. And in fact, I said I was going to look this up, but I haven't had time. But it feels to me like home field has been more critical this year, particularly in the SEC than ever before. Perhaps it's parity. I think the NIL is certainly making parity more of an issue. So, but this is something we can discuss in the offseason when we don't have football.
No, that's fair. Ole Miss at Auburn's interesting. There was one columnist this week that wrote that if Lane Kiffin loses to this Auburn team, he should be fired immediately. But man, that's still Jordan-Hare Stadium, bro. I would not take that lightly at all.
If Lane Kiffin gets fired, A&M should be on the first plane out to hire him. They could find the $77 million to pay off Jimbo much faster. Look, Auburn's got to figure out what's going on with their passing attack. They've got to figure that out. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to keep up. But then again, that's what an Ole Miss defense is for. Figuring out, how to get your passing game going.
But I would have said the same about LSU.
Yeah, but again, LSU was at home. This is a game where home field's got to matter for Auburn, right? They were able to play Georgia to the wire at home. They should be able to play, particularly after being humiliated by LSU in Death Valley. Auburn's got to go home. Hugh's got to get this team pumped up and ready to play, but I just don't see how, after having watched the Auburn up close last weekend, I don't see how that team can keep up with Ole Miss's offense. So I like Ole Miss by 10 or 14.
Okay. There's 2 blah games. There's Mississippi State at Arkansas and South Carolina at Missouri. I think Mississippi State at Arkansas is pretty interesting because Arkansas is on a 5-game losing streak, and if Sam Pittman don't win, they're going to fire him. And I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, and I asked you if you think he's on the hot seat, and you said I hope not.
I hope not.
You said I hope not is your words. But man, if they lose this home game to Mississippi State, Russ, you can kiss a bowl goodbye, because they're not winning out to get to 500, and Sam Pittman might be done.
At LSU, on the road, A&M. At Ole Miss, at Alabama. That's a murderer's row right there, particularly with the next game, in the swamp. He's got to win this game, man, especially because if he loses it, then the 2 home games that sandwich that stretch that I just gave you were BYU and State. this isn't what's the spread on this game?
Arkansas 6.
Wow, Arkansas 6, really? I think Arkansas is going to win, but especially because they were close in a lot of these games, man, and they match up a little bit better against State. I haven't been sold on State, but and the fascinating thing is, which has been impressive to watch, is that in this stretch at LSU, on the road with A&M, at Ole Miss, at Alabama, this team never once quit on Sam.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't quit on him once. So, I expect that playing at home, recognizing that they've got the Swamp on the road, I like Arkansas.
And we don't know Will Rogers' status either in that game, so that's still up in the air. I mean, if Will Rogers doesn't play, then Mike Wright, the Vanderbilt transfer, starts for State. So
by the way, quickly, this team has to know that if they don't step up, that Sam's job could be on the line, and not just Sam, but all the coaches.
Yeah.
So I have to think that, given they haven't quit on them yet, I have to think they stand up and beat State.
How about Missouri at 6-1? Went on the road and pounded Kentucky and Lexington. You want to talk about not getting off the mat? Kentucky didn't get off the mat after getting their ass kicked by Georgia. Now here comes South Carolina and a coach with a broken foot after he kicked something after the loss to Florida.
Yeah. How about so first of all, I guess Missouri's paying for players too, right, Stoops?
I made that joke too.
So I like that. Second of all, did you see how many Mizzou scored? 38.
With 38-14, 38-17.
They got right up to that 39-point governor that I talked about. They can't. Have you seen Missouri can't score more than 39 points? That's right where they get to, and they stop. Look, this is a South Carolina defense that I don't know what's happened, but South Carolina's defense has just disappeared. It couldn't stop Florida's passing game. They got hit by Mississippi State for 500 passing yards, struggled against a balanced Tennessee team, and now here's Missouri playing at home. That's got a very good passing attack. I think Missouri will get to 38 points, and that'll be enough to win.
Missouri.
By the way, I'm calling it right now.
Missouri,
38.
Missouri wins 38 to what?
28.
All right, 38-28. Missouri beats South Carolina. We'll see. All right, any thought on LSU hosting Army this week? Anything you'd like to see?
We talked about how LSU's run defense, they're averaging 5 yards a carry. It's ranked 115th in the nation in yards per attempt, yards per carry. And normally, if you were playing Army, you would worry about that. And you would say, oh, well, potentially that could be an issue. This Army team right now is only averaging 4 yards a carry. It's ranked 82nd in the country running the ball. That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is not your dad's Army team.
This is 2 years ago's Army team.
Yeah. So I think LSU should get the chance to. The more interesting thing for me is, do you think LSU gets over 500 yards of total offense in this game?
Yeah.
Do you think that?
Yeah.
Do you think the starters are playing in the second half?
Are they playing in the second half? Yes. I think that the starters play through the third quarter, which is what we've seen, and then they'll give Nussmeier the fourth quarter, however that may transpire.
Here's another thing that's very interesting. I've been talking about using my Heisman vote, my first place Heisman vote on Jaden Daniels, and a lot of other voters are now starting to talk about that as well. He has to play, he'll have to, but do you really play him when, if you're up by enough, do you play him? Or so to me, those are some of the things. Obviously, it's far more important to the season to rest the injured players, to prepare for Alabama. So I'm not really worried if this team gets over 500 total yards, but that's far more interesting than the game itself. Yeah. It's just embarrassing to be playing Army in October.
Way the schedule's set up, man. I get it. But
it's embarrassing to be playing Army in October.
It's worse playing Georgia State in November.
Yes, it is. Well, save that for November.
Russ Mitchell, college football news, with us every Wednesday. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
See you for the Florida game. Russ will be here for the Tigers and the Gators. All right, it's after further review. We appreciate Russ. We get the Otter locks. We're brought to you by Pure Restoration. Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. Mold Zero, you've heard me talk about forever, is now Pure Restoration. Same company, same people, same patented non-toxic dry fog, more cost-effective, more efficient. Traditional remediation methods could take 1 to 3 weeks. Pure Restoration, 24 hours. Done. Man, they save you, too. There was a school that hired Pure Restoration when they had a mold issue, and Pure Restoration saved them $2 million in furniture that they thought they were going to have to discard. But the patented non-toxic dry fog killed all the mold, and they were able to restore it and saved them $2 million in furniture costs. It's Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com. Mold, odor, other harmful pathogens. Maybe you have a school or a hospital that you want to sanitize. They have an annual product. It's a once annual treatment. It's a sanitization product that'll last for the entire year. It's Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will jump aboard with us for Otter locks. Otter had a 2-3 night last night, but what we always tell you, man, take advantage of those boosts at DraftKings because they had a profit boost on, what did we have? We used the profit boost on
Major League Baseball last night.
Oh, with the Phillies.
Yeah, with the Phillies.
So you had a profit boost on the Phillies. So if you, even with the 2-3 night, because you had the profit boost, you were able to effectively break even if you made equal bets across your 5 bets. So when you download that DraftKings app, take advantage of the profit boosts. Okay, knock out our final break. We'll wrap up the show with Otter locks when we come back. A couple of college football games and the MLB game as well. We'll see what the Otters got for us. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources, the newest member of the AFR family. My buddy Jareth Knockan and our friends over at Glow Resources, GLO. Remember, it's GLO, Glow Resources, glowresources.com. Glow Resources, I always tell you what they are by telling you what they aren't. They are not a temp staffing agency. What Glow Resources does, they have a professional placement division. They'll source people from all over the world to help your business. For example, they've got engineers from India that are placed in jobs in Houston. And remember this as well, if you're a business owner. You, the business owner, the customer, you get a guarantee for 60 days that the employee is the right fit. If Glow places an employee in your business and it doesn't work, they'll find you a new employee at no cost, or they'll give you a prorated refund. It's Glow Resources. They're a great company. They're fun to work with, easy to deal with, and they take care of everything. Be more cost effective. Get the right people in your business. It's Glow Resources. glowresources.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
We have truckloads of inventory rolling in at Corbell Toyota in Opelousas. And you can take advantage of 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corbell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
His name was Cain. He had a horse.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. We got one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing good. Doing good. We didn't do well in the straight plays, but we hit the 3-team parlay.
Yep.
So I got a creative.
And, by the way, just something that you always put a bug in our ear, to take advantage of those profit boosts, and DraftKings had a 25% profit boost on MLB, so I ended up basically a wash yesterday, even with a 2 and 3 night, because I ended up playing the Phillies with the profit boost. So always take advantage of those. It's a good lesson to learn.
Always. No doubt about it. All right, the president of Texas, Jerry Kill, Liberty Bibbity. Sam Houston, New Mexico State, and the New York Liberty, plus 242 at DraftKings, 3-team money line parlay.
All right, Sam Houston plus this will be the first ever.
Money line parlay.
No, for sure. This will be the first ever WNBA bet that I make. I got to find WNBA on the DraftKings app. All right, so the Liberty are minus 258 at DraftKings.
Yeah.
And
Sam
Houston's minus 230. So the 2-pick parlay is minus 101. So it's basically even money.
And you forgot Jerry Kill, New Mexico State.
Oh, okay. So it's a 3-team parlay.
Yes. Not many have booked those teams together. Plus 242 at DraftKings.
All right, hang on. I'm looking at plus 227 right now. Must have been something wrong.
It's going down a little bit.
All right.
We're knocking it down.
All right, so Sam Houston on the money line, link it up with New Mexico State on the money line, and the New York Liberty on the money line. What a hell of a 3-team parlay that is.
Not many of those have been running around. So.
I don't think so, Otter. That's a way to get creative there, babe.
All right. Matt Scherzer going to go under 12.5 outs. And then also, Yordan Alvarez will have a walk. Those are both around even money. So there's no way they can pitch this guy much more. I mean, he is just hitting a home run every other at bat. So I got to believe. Scherzer, I mean, he shouldn't even be pitching at all. He's going to be on a strict pitch count. How effective will he be? I don't know. But in the Astros, the 22 games over 500 on the road this year. I like the Astros plus 105 tonight against Texas. So that's Astros plus 105 straight up. And if your mobile out does offer it, Scherzer under, total outs recorded, and Alvarez
1 minute remaining.
have a walk.
All right, Scherzer under outs and Alvarez to have a walk. Okay, so we got, again, just really quick to recap, the money line parlay, Sam Houston State, New Mexico State, and the New York Liberty. Otter likes the Astros plus 105. Use the profit boost. And then you've got Scherzer under on the outs recorded and Alvarez to get a walk in tonight's game. Tomorrow, Thursday, downtown Baton Rouge?
Yes, plenty of outdoor seating available. You are downtown, come on, see us at Town Square Pizza in Jolie Borough. Fade Santa Ana.
What? Fade Santa Ana? He's talking about Santa Ana. Get out of here. He said fade Santa Ana. What? Jimmy Otto's a one. He just said fade Santa Ana. Oh, my God. We got to go. Bye.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, let me remind you about Traction, TractionSports.com. TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. Hey, I've been telling you about the Traction summer camps. And, y'all, I was looking at their Facebook earlier today, and the catchers camp, this was 3 hours ago, so they might be full. There was 1 spot left in the junior varsity and 2 spots left in the varsity camp. That's for the catchers program with Brad Cressy. Y'all, don't wait. If you're thinking that you want to get your son in these Traction camps, you got to go sign them up now. They've got the holiday camps, so you've got the Thanksgiving camp, the Christmas camp, and the New Year's camp that they're enrolling now. But they also have these catcher, pitcher, infielder position camps as well. Go to the website, TractionSports.com, to get more info and to register. TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there.